following podcast is being brought to you by the Defy Life Podcast Network.
On this week's episode of the Defy Life Podcast, we will talk about a woman getting attacked by a jaguar at an Arizona zoo trying to take a selfie. We'll talk celebrities and CEOs being charged in a multi-million-dollar college admission scam. We'll answer some listener questions, talk the Antonio Brown and Odell Beckham trades. We'll talk about some internal Defy Life beef. And, of course, we'll wrap things up with some trivia. All that and more. Let's get to it.
Journey with three of my friends, defy life till we die and grow wings. Just a different perspective. Haters in every direction. Refuse to live my life based off your projections. Their expectations are lazy. My expectations are crazy. My lady defies me. Koozie, Brown, Brady, Jordan, LeBron, Aaron, Barnes, Mayweather, Ali Foreman. You get the picture, greatest ever born. I attack without warning. This is not around the horn. The other shows whack, a lot of yawning. You really want to be the best, got to pay the price. We make winning look easy. Welcome to Defy Life. Defy Life.
Welcome back to the Defy Life Podcast, brought to you by the Defy Life Podcast Network. This is your host, J.R. Glymph. As always, we encourage you to follow, subscribe, like, and drop us a comment whenever you listen. The Defy Life Podcast is available everywhere your favorite podcasts are available. You can also follow us on all social media at Go Defy Life. The Defy Life Podcast is sponsored by our friends at Bud Bottles, home of the Bud Bottle and the Bud Freshener. Please visit budbottles.com for your odor eliminating needs. This is episode 98 of the Defy Life Podcast. Again, I'm your host, J.R. Glymph, joined as always by my wonderful co-host, Gerald Hedrick. Yusuf English, how's it going today, Gerald? And that kid is on mute talking to himself, I bet you. Maybe not. Yosh, how's it going?
Oh man, that was Gerald's music. I was trying to bring him in, but you know he ain't. So you know, hold on. I gotta play my music. I went ahead and got my music. Hold on. Let me play. This is my music, just for my girl Shanice.
Hold on.
Is it Sheree?
It's been 1 week already. You'd have forgot her name. Oh
what?
Yeah.
What? Hold up, my mute button got stuck. What's going on?
Oh, you were pulling these mute buttons.
Man, you done messed up, man. God damn it, man. Okay, Jay.
Jay,
Go back to money.
Hold on, let me rewind. Joining me as always, my wonderful co-host Gerald Hedrick, Yusuf English. How's it going today, Gerald?
Yeah, that's yo. You know what? Thank you. That's what I needed. You know, I had to wait for my theme music to start playing and stuff.
No, your theme music was waiting for you. So.
Yo, y'all already know the real is back. It's another 2 for Tuesdays. Welcome to the Defy Life Podcast. I'm so excited to be here. Want to thank you guys, the hosts, as always. I had a long day, and I always get to wrap it up with hanging out with my guys, man. So once again, man, we back, and thank you guys for listening.
Ain't that the damn truth? Yeah, man, good to be here. You know, long days during the week. Again, being here with you guys is one of the highlights of my week. I can't say the highlight. My wife might listen, but yeah, one of the highlights of my week. But yeah, man, Yosh, how's it going today, sir?
Like I said, my baby's listening. Hey, baby. I know your husband's listening too. What's up? What's up, dog?
God damn.
What's up, Zeus? I feel you. But it's your boy, man. I'm here. I'm here for the love, man. I'm here for the love of the ladies.
Oh, man.
Had a great week. Hey, I wouldn't be me if I didn't.
Absolutely. Well, I hope you remember. It's been a week. See, you forgot her name already. She means so much to you.
Hey, listen. Hey, you know how it goes. You know, wait. You know, we move from week to week. You know, if she don't move with me, I gotta move on.
Oh boy! Well, hopefully she's still allowed to listen to the show. We don't even know.
I mean,
I ain't even talk to
listen
her.
to the show.
No, not by
No,
you.
that ain't what he's saying.
Yeah, that's exact. Thank you, Money. That is not what I'm saying. Hopefully,
hey, listen. Let me say this. After Yoshi put those stylings down, you can't help but continue to listen to the show. She knows she listening. He ain't always with her. She might be in the car, headed to work. She said, I gotta get Yoshi.
Hey, before we go any further, can you just go ahead and get the disclaimer out of the way, please?
Yeah, please.
The words and ideas that you are about to hear are those of Yoshi and him alone. They in no way represent the thoughts and ideas of Defy Life or the Defy Life Podcast Network.
Thank you, sir. I always feel better. I always feel better after that's played because I know at least if I get an ass whooping surrounding this by anybody, it won't be justified. So,
but can I send my baby a message?
Yes.
For as long as you're staying with your husband, you're.
Oh God.
If you ain't with me, you fooling around, baby.
Oh man, it's gonna be a great show, y'all. It's gonna be a great show. Well, Alvin will not be with us tonight, and Pooh will be late, but this time for a good reason. The niggas are trying to become my neighbor. So Pooh, you take all the time you need filling out those applications and taking those tests for that job, so you can be a Wednesday tonight, sir, and come on up and we can cook out every weekend and make our wives mad because we out on the porch drunk. So yeah, go ahead and do that
and defy life together, man.
Absolutely,
all that, baby.
So yeah, good luck to you, Pooh. So we'll talk to you shortly. Al, you be safe. Al is in L.A. for the weekend, so.
My man Al.
Yeah. So speaking of the West Coast, with two members down. And I think most of you people out there will be familiar with this next voice. We got a special guest joining us tonight, the champion of the Defy Life Battleground, Trivia Battleground, Jason. What's going on, West Coast Jay?
Oh, appreciate y'all, man. It's lovely to be here, you know. I don't know how I'm supposed to follow Yoshi anywhere.
Hey.
That intro was off the chain right there.
Well, I'll give you one piece of advice. You don't have to pay me. My advice to you would be is don't follow Yoshi. Just don't follow him at all.
Look, I gotta be honest. I admire the reckless nature. T-Reckless in the building randomly. We out here representing San Francisco, California, USA, 94124. You told people I was from Oakland the other day. I'm not.
Yeah.
But other than that, I might as well go ahead and get that all out the way.
Okay.
So, Team Alliances, I'm a Giant and an Athletic. Unless the Giants play the A's, then I'm a Giant.
And that's the baseball Giants for you.
That is the San Francisco baseball Giants.
Yes, the Giants that don't matter, the baseball Giants. But yeah, go ahead.
The three-time world champion, San Francisco Giants. Let's go ahead.
It's baseball. It's baseball, sir.
Now the San Francisco 49ers and the Oakland Raiders. Unless the Niners play the Raiders, then I'm a Niner.
Okay.
And then all other Bay Area teams, I'm a Warrior. I'm a Laker, because most of my life the Warriors were awful, so I had to be a Laker during the playoffs.
All right.
Them Niners making big moves.
Yeah, man.
Niners making big moves.
Yeah, man. San Jose Sharks, best regular season team in all time.
What they play?
True that. All day, baby. All day, baby.
And
what
San Jose Earthquakes.
The Sharks.
Out to Major League Soccer.
Oh.
Yeah, them Sharks.
Okay, yeah. Now we drifting way outside of actual sports territory. So but yeah, man.
I'm happy to be here.
Well, yeah, man. Welcome, man. it's technically your first time. Well, I'll put it this way. It's your first time on the flagship of Defy Life Network, the Defy Life Podcast. And since I mentioned that, why don't we just jump straight into that shit? I was going to wait to talk about it. But did anybody have an opportunity to sit down and listen to Take a Knee for Marvel and DC this past week?
Can I start, Jay?
Yes,
You want to
please.
start? Go ahead.
Let me start by saying, first off, we did mention your show.
We did.
On the show. We did. I did mention Scott. V's. My apologies if I did not mention you. And I believe that Jay mentioned you.
Yes.
Apologies.
But you know what they say. When you throw a rock in a pack of dogs, the one that holler is the one you hit. Well, apparently something must have touched you over there that caused all this animosity. And I just want to reach out to the people at Marvel and DC and say, we're here for you.
We are.
We are here for you.
And there's no stop there.
There's no beef. I don't have any beef. I don't have any beef. Let's say this. I am here. We are here. All of us, we are here for the love, man. Yeah. Where is the love?
Fuck that. Why you should have started with me? I'm here for the beef.
Oh, well, let's
Hey, listen, hold man. That's how you set it up though.
Oh, true that.
Hey, them boys said they could take our topics and flip it better than us.
Yeah.
And we couldn't go on their show and talk about their topics. Pretty much. That's pretty much what was insinuated.
Yeah. Well, what? Okay. So before I get to you, Money, because I know you just want to go straight in. Well, Money, go ahead. Go in so I can. Yoshi giving the love. Money about to bring the beef.
I wanted to hear what you was actually going to say.
Well, actually, a few things. One, like for one, when V's was saying that shit, his microphone ain't even believe him because the shit kept cutting out.
It kept cutting out.
Yeah,
cutting out.
So first of all, I want to say to you guys on our fellow show, our brothers at Take a Knee, get some real equipment before you start talking shit, because the shit might start cutting out and we can't understand. I had to rewind it. I don't like rewinding podcasts. I feel like I had a cassette tape. So first of all, V's get some real equipment. Secondly,
shots fired.
Secondly, I was surprised V's would even on the fucking show. He only there like once a month anyway. So I guess it took him a month to come up with all the shit he was saying. And then nextly, like they were mentioned, as Yosh said. So I don't know where V's animosity is from. But it only makes sense for a network called Defy Life, for the Defy Life Podcast, is going to be labeled the flagship. So I don't know why, V's would have an issue with that. But he dragged Scott in it, and obviously dragged Oz into it, because Oz was totally blindsided by it. And then lastly, as Money just pointed out, V said that they'll take our topics and flip them and make them better. Anybody aware of how often and how long ago we had the LeBron versus MJ debate? Wasn't that like 2 years? That was like show 40, right? And they just had that debate last week. Who still has MJ and LeBron debates for the first time in 2019? So
no, they had to wait MJ so they could have something to talk about.
Yeah, I guess.
That's all it was. They just had to wait for him to score more points.
I guess.
It's all right, guys. Leave him alone.
No, it's good. But no, it was.
Leave him alone. I haven't even started. It was kind of cute though. But I want to give congratulations to Scott and Oz for actually getting Travis McKelvey to show up on the show. So V's, I know you probably won't be able to respond until like August when you back on the show again.
So we'll await your response until about, well, I'll give you May 13th. Father's Day, maybe. Since y'all drop on Sundays, maybe Father's Day he'll respond. But I know it won't be no time soon. So the beef will be hashed out by then. We'll be friends again by the time V's is able to respond. So Money, go ahead.
Yo, I got a lot of wherever it's smoke, I got a lot of fire. You know what I'm saying? And I got a lot of fire for wherever it's smoke. So I'm saying it like this. Yo, I've been itching to get to this. I've been itching to because look, check this out. Like they tried to set he been throwing shots. He been throwing shots at the throne for a minute now.
Yeah,
you know, he been throwing shots through the text message and everything. Yeah. So then he get on the show and like you said, from the disses that I could make out. I mean, I could tell this is about the tone of his voice.
Yeah,
you know,
he wrote them down definitely. He been practicing them shits in the mirror.
Yeah, in between all the static and the fuzz and the cutout, I just felt like he was saying, you know, J Money, Pooh, Yosh, you know, they ain't shit. That's how I felt like he was saying in my heart. And he dropped some names a couple of times.
Oh, he dropped government names.
Yeah, he dropped names out there, and I feel like not until the end the eyes really realized that like, oh shit, we might be in hot water.
Yeah,
because at first I think him and Scott was with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
him and Scott was with it. You know, Scott was egging him on, and he. I feel like he was a co-conspirator. I feel like he was an accomplice. So when I shoot my shot, I'm shooting it at both of them. You know, and Oz, you gotta be collateral damage, baby. I gotta get the drop. I gotta get the shooter and the drop. I gotta get the shooter and the drop. So we coming for y'all, and I'm coming on the show. We gonna flip your topics. How about that? You know, we can come on there and talk comments. We can come on there and talk. We can talk about whatever.
Absolutely.
Y'all can come on here and talk comments. We can talk whatever. Right. I'm gonna just say this, just in case it's any confusion. We the motherfucking flagship.
Can I add on to that? I just want to add on.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm the lover of the group.
Yes. And apparently, I'm the bully of the group. So hey, I got a title to live up to.
And as I thought about this beef, I tried to figure out the best way to express myself, and the best way I could come up with it. To my man V's, who I love so dearly, my former roommate, my road dog. This one is for you. Oh man.
The devil worshiping horses, human sacrifices, cannibalism, candles and exorcism, animals having sex with them, camels, mammals and rabbits. But I don't get into that. I kick the habit. I just beat you to death with weapons and eat you the flesh, and I never eat you unless the fucking meat looks fresh. I got a lion in my pocket, I'm lying. I got a 9 in my pocket, and baby, I'm just dying. The doctor me's ready for war. I'm ready for war. I got machetes and swords for any faggot that said he was raw. My Uzi's heavy as yours. Yeah, you met me before. I just didn't have as large an arsenal of weapons before. Marshal, step in the door. I lay your head on the floor with your body spread on the bedspread. Red on the wall, red on the ceiling, red on the floor. Get a new whore. Met on the second, red on the third, then she's dead on the fourth. I'm dead wrong.
Defy Life, baby.
Yo. Yeah, so that happened.
And moving on into news.
Yeah,
that kid played 32 balls in the song.
He did,
we needed every word.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guarantee you, since Jason's now been on both shows, and he's had the experience of both. I guarantee you, he may have come out, learning about Gotham a little bit more on your show, but he damn sure gonna have more fun on here. So Jason, I hope I'm sorry if you get caught up in this crossfire, but I'm glad you aligned on the right side right now, sir. So it's good to have you here.
And Jason, just know we did not start this shit, but we
didn't.
will finish it.
Absolutely. Nah. But nothing but love. Nothing but love to our bros.
Jay, let me say one thing.
Walking down the street, minding my own business.
And we snatched you in this white van.
One started shooting, and then the other motherfucker jumped out this truck. And I got low, right? I got down, right? Because I didn't know what was going on. I ain't no piece on me. So, and then, hilarious.
Yeah. Wow.
What up? I love you. I'm sorry you was stuck in the crossfire.
Well,
and then regular Scott, man.
Yeah, but they didn't.
Scott,
yeah.
you know what you did.
No doubt. Hey, but they didn't stop there though. They took shots at Miggs. Miggs ain't even got his own. First of all, you took shots at Miggs. They took shots at Miggs, and Miggs, first of all, doesn't have a podcast. Miggs don't want to do a podcast because Miggs thinks anybody can talk about movies. I like writing about movies. We're not going to respect that. So Miggs, and then you're going to invite him on your show. After you invite him on your show and you know he's about to come up for your open night, you taking shots at Miggs. Everybody love Miggs, man. How you taking shots at Miggs? Then they start talking about the LeBron and MJ beef, and Oz don't even watch basketball. So they excluded 1/3 of their show. Yeah.
Oz took a nap.
Oz took a fucking nap on the show. Like, how you get into a subject and completely exclude 1/3 of your show. And Scott, be careful, because if Oz say, fuck it, I ain't coming on, you only gonna have a show once every 8 weeks with V's. So be careful. That's right. You don't want to piss Oz off, because you ain't got no co-host without him. So just be careful, man. Don't talk about basketball no more. Save that shit for a 10 spot. So yeah, again, that happened, and then I pop in, get to my desk today, see it's a new Anything, Everything, and Nothing with Lynn and Kim today, and Yoshi got fired, and me and Pooh got smoked. Behind Kim, y'all go check out Kim's bio at godefylife.com. First of all, Kim's bio is up now, so go learn about our sister from Anything, Everything, and Nothing. But yeah, so I guess as she's putting together her bio, she's of course checking ours out, and she realizes something that Jay and Pooh. Oh, and yo, speaking of which, I gotta get your bio up there, so we can everybody can learn some more about you. But yeah, so Kim peeps that, and me and Pooh's top 5 rappers of all time, and apparently Yosh falls in line with this too. Jay-Z is not on our top 5, and so Kim calls us out and challenges us invites us, I'll say, to a 10 spot to explain why. And then Yo speaks up and says, hey, why are you talking about it? Jay ain't in my top 5 either. So she fired him as their producer on the spot. She hired him right back. She did fire him. So yeah, Yosh got canned. So how'd that feel, man, to be roasted on a show on somebody else's show, just for speaking your truth?
Well, I didn't speak my truth. I spoke the truth.
Oh, okay. Right.
And they can't fire me off this show. So
You're right.
That, Lenny Kim. You can't fire me off this show. But anyway, they're my girls, man. And Kim was talking, and I think Kim sometimes her love affair with Jay-Z and B kind of shades her judgment.
Yeah.
And I even gave her other people above Jay-Z, and I was like, okay, people make this argument, Jay-Z's in the top 5. Okay, I feel you. Top 5 artist? Yes. You want to do that? Fine. The longevity and all of that, that's cool. But top 5 rapper, lyrically? No. It's just not true.
Yeah.
It's just not true.
Right. And what I hope Kim understands is that those lists are all subjective, right? That's our opinion.
And they're all subjective. Yeah. And I mean, and I sometimes feel like we as people sometimes, when we're talking about rappers, it's to our preference. You know, it's what we prefer to listen to. Like, I think lyrically, Jadakiss is in there, and he's in the mix. But that's me personally. Right. You know what I'm saying? I think Eminem. You know, you talk about Biggie, Pac, and we just talking about lyrics. Nas. You know, you got people lyrically that I felt was better than him. Right. So that was my POV. But of course, as women do, real sensitive, shit. Fire me on the spot.
Fired you on the spot.
On the spot. And I'm probably going to be fired after this episode until it's time to record episode 20, and then I'll be hired again.
Yeah, probably so. Well, and I'll be. Well, you got to be on there because I've been invited as a guest on episode 20.
Jay, after the bashing and beating that I took this last episode, which was a very dope episode, great episode, and to rewind a little bit, that Marvel versus DC, the conversation they had about the Captain Marvel, great episode to listen to.
It was, yes, absolutely,
great episode. Yeah. But Anything, Everything, and Nothing with Lynn and Kim. Let me say this. It's a great podcast with a great cast and an even greater producer.
Right. Yeah, man.
I don't know. I might quit before that show because I was treated so wrongly. And I felt like the apology at the end of the show was not genuine.
Wow. I think. Wow. Well, I think they owe you a dozen chicken wings and some Hennessy.
Now that would get me back.
Exactly. So Lynn, Kim, Star Men Defenses.
Hey, go ahead. And if you got some white Hennessy, you might be able to sign me for the rest of for another 5 years.
A Magic Johnson lifetime contract? Get out of here.
Lifetime contract.
Oh, wow.
The Hennessy White will get you a lifetime contract.
Jeez.
Damn.
For real.
Wow.
Wow.
True, because people try to sell it to you for $200. Nah, bro. Somebody just get me one. I'm good. But nah, they came for us, Jay.
They did. So
they came for it.
So I don't know, man.
Y'all Defy Life podcasters are defiant.
But I'll say this. I love that spirit, right? Because I mean, I love the fact that they willing, like Money said, to take shots at the crown, right? All of them.
Your arms are too short to box with God. I need y'all to remember that.
But I think now everybody we did kind of all like come to this agreement last week that Be Easy was your favorite podcaster's favorite podcaster, right? And so the fact that Be Easy ain't like scared to say shit, I think they all kind of took that as a challenge. Like, oh, you think Be Easy ain't scared to say shit? Oh,
we gonna say what we gotta say.
Hold my beer. Let me show you. Right. So yeah. So I appreciate the response, and I appreciate first of all for y'all for listening. But we in full disclosure, for hitting, well, first of all, and then we didn't even address this on the show. Congrats, guys, for the 20,000 downloads in our history. And that was so fucking hard to track down, first of all, because a lot of our downloads came from when we were strictly a website before we were on Spreaker. So I'm, trying to gathering those numbers and going to the website, getting those. So those were hard fought. Like at least those first 10,000 were hard fought downloads. Like we was fighting for them downloads. So like that's a milestone within itself. So for y'all to take shots at us to kind of, add some fire to, so we can increase this gap a little bit. So, by the time y'all get to 20, we'll be at 100. So, we'll see about that. So, but yeah, man, it was fun hearing V's. So, I don't know. What is it?
Fun. It was
May, it's March, March the 12th, some shit like that. So, yeah, so August 15th, 2021, we'll talk to you, V's, when you are back on your own show. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, V's was actually a guest on here before, and after that, you know, V's and Money were here as guests first on the Defy Life show, and you know, right after that, we were like, yo, you know, it would be great if y'all had your own show. So Money was down. Money was like, yeah, let's do it, and V's just left him twisting out there in the wind for 6 weeks. And V's was, you know, Money was like, yo, I'm ready to do this show. What's up with V's? And we never heard nothing from V's. Next thing I know, I get this call from a dude named Scott, who's like, yo, you know V's? I'm like, yeah, I know V's. He's like, well, V's told me you do podcasts. I'm like, oh, yeah, I do podcasts. What's going on? Well, yeah, I want to do a podcast. V's want to do it with me. I'm like, V's still got people hanging on that he's supposed to do a show with 2 years ago. So I guess V's couldn't handle the heat here, so he decided to talk about comic books for a living. So I get it, V's. So it all worked out. We got Money. Y'all got V's, and I feel like we won. So yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah. So but
as a guest on the show after hearing all of this, I gotta be quite honest. Who I gotta talk to get a shank or something? Because y'all in here with prison rules. You tell me I done had to put some boots on. All is like, what's good in here? Who I talk to?
Hey, Jason, let me ask you this, brother. Did you hear last week's show?
Oh yeah. That's why I was sitting here dying laughing at Yoshi with the introduction of science and technology for the Quiet Storm. Yoshi had me feeling like I was listening to Easy, but it was getting ready to get ready to get real cool.
Yeah.
Just turn that down a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
Like I just kept feeling like Elder Barge was about to come on in the background for nothing. Out the blue, just all this.
Man.
Anyway, so I did hear all of what y'all said. I understand.
Don't get me started.
Look, I understand the beefs. I understand where they came from. There wasn't even really shots fired. I'm talking to you and take a knee. Wasn't even really shots fired.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I was just walking down the street, mind my own business. And then I got this phone call. I'm on here right now, and now I got on my boots. I'm trying to find a shank. What is it?
well, okay. So Jay, so off the top of your head, I'm sure you probably thought about it before, but since you are a guest, we always hit our guest up with a random question. So we'll get yours out the way. So while we on the topic, who's your favorite host to listen to on the Defy Life Network?
Oh wow! All right, so we're just gonna put me in the middle of the beef,
right?
So
us excluded, since you are a guest here. I don't want to put you in a difficult position. So outside of the Defy Life podcast, which I know you listen to every week, because we talk about it all the time, who's your favorite? Yeah. Who's your favorite podcast host on the network?
This is hilarious. I'm gonna give a quick honorable mention off top. What up, Oz?
Of course.
Wasn't your fault. Miggs. You already know Miggs. Miggs beat me in trivia one time.
He did.
And so as a result, I've been stuck listening to what he be talking about, thinking he knows stuff.
All right. Wow. Yeah, man.
That's really what it boils itself down to. Like, that's where I'm at.
All right.
I can't say we know it's Yost most of the time.
Yeah.
But in reality, I can't say that because I'm on here right now.
Right.
Money tried to have me banned from the first trivia, otherwise he would have been here. You feel me?
Yo, like, I was gonna ask you if you remember. Remember that time I tried to get you banned?
That kid blackballed you from the jump. Like,
that's what I'm saying. And now who I got to talk to for weapons.
Right.
So it's a strange situation right
Yeah, he was just like, well, what's your name?
Jason.
Oh, Jason, you banned. Like, he just hit you off the rip.
Get out of here. I ban people. I ban people for fun.
That's what I do.
Damn, I just got
it. If it makes you feel any better, I banned Yosh for an episode or two, too.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
What in the hell did I do to get banned?
I don't remember. Yoshi, yeah, Money banned everybody. He banned me. He boycotted me one time. A kid say he come back on the show until Jay gone for 2 weeks.
Anything. That was the honest answer.
Yeah.
You could have did anything.
Yeah. All right, but yeah, man, I'm with you, man. Like I said, everybody loves Miggs, man. I ain't encountered anyone yet that don't dig what Miggs put down. So I feel you on that. Miggs is I was so loved, especially with his personality. If he had a podcast, I've tried to talk him into it. But I so enjoy reading his work. So, yeah, I feel you on Miggs. Even when he is guest on shows and when he did the Trivia Battleground, it was hilarious. So, shout out to Miggs, man. That's my dude.
Yeah, man.
So,
Yeah.
oh, man. Well, all right. Enough on... We've talked long enough about our haters. So, let's move on. But... appreciate.
I might circle back to y'all in a little while.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we may. And speaking of which, y'all welcome. Scott, V's, and Oz, y'all are welcome because I'm sure people gonna listen to this and go want to listen to what y'all said. So you're welcome for the downloads.
You know what? That was smart. They did this to sell downloads.
They did. They Tupac.
Yo, they Meek Mill y'all.
They make this. They Tupac. They 50 cented us for real. Yeah. All right. They want. They
awesome, actually.
Yeah. They robbing industry podcasters. But yeah. So right. So we'll jump right into our news tidbits. So first off, raise your hand if you've heard this one before. A lady goes to a zoo and she says, "Ooh, that's a pretty dangerous animal, but he's so beautiful and he looks so deadly and beautiful. I want to take a selfie with him. Let's hop over this barrier and go take a picture with this jaguar." Lady goes to a zoo in Arizona, decides that she sees a jaguar. It's so beautiful, she wants to get a selfie in the jaguar cage, so she hops her ass over the barrier and goes to take a selfie. Next thing you know, I don't know if she thought she was, Christy Yamaguchi or something. She thought she was gonna jump in and jump out really quick, but she got her ass caught up in the cage with the jaguar, and it came out of nowhere and scratched the shit out of her. Luckily, she survived and she got non-life-threatening injuries because the jaguar pretty much just put the whoop whoop on her and kept moving. But yeah, man, Yosh. If you're let's just say a friend, if you were at the zoo with a friend and you saw her jump over the cage and get attacked by a jaguar, what would you feel any sympathy?
Let me say something. When you start hearing shit like that,
right?
What we going over there for?
Yeah.
And personally.
But that's the thing about a jaguar. You ain't gonna hit it.
No, what I'm saying,
you ain't gonna hit
money,
shit
until he gone.
But money. What's the word? The quietest motherfucking room is the most deadliest motherfucking room.
Yeah.
I know what it can do, and if I'm with somebody that climbs over that shit, you know what I'm doing? Instantly, I'm pulling out my phone.
Oh my God!
They about to get whatever they deserve, and I am probably egging them on. Yo, for real, go over there. I'll take the picture for you. I got you, because this shit right here, nigga, is about to be funny as hell. This is about to be some comic view shit. Like, this is about to be. Who the fuck does that?
Jay. You know what I would have said?
What?
Yo, as you hopping over, well, not you, but as whoever hopping over the fucking barrier, I would have said, yo, you know what's in there?
For real.
No,
did you read that sign that said jaguar?
But money, we at the sign that says this shit eats people.
Right.
Yeah, Did you know? That's why I would have been like, yo, you sure you know what's in there? Nigga, you know what jaguars do? First of all, you ain't gonna see them motherfuckers. You don't see them coming.
Right.
And them shits move so damn fast. You fuck.
Yeah.
What?
So Jay,
random fun fact.
Yeah.
I worked at the San Francisco Zoo for 7 years of my life.
Did you go in there and fuck with the Jaguars?
Right.
Let me get to it, yo.
I'm waiting on you. I'm waiting on you then.
Like, as a junior zoologist, I had to deal with animals of all shapes and sizes. Walked around with a bobcat for a few feet. You know what I'm saying? Had bald eagles flying and landed on my arm and all of the et ceteras. With all of that said, every animal that can kill you, there is a sign that says, do not feed the animals. I'm more upset than anything else that now we have to put up signs that say, do not hop your stupid ass over this fence and try to take a goddamn selfie, you dumb motherfucker. Things be eating people and shit.
Your sign gonna say all that?
The sign gonna have to say all of that. The worst part is, whoever that sign is for hasn't read past do not. So it doesn't really matter. I feel like in this case, the Jaguar was doing the human race a favor and trying to send the herd. See, there's an abundance of dumb people who exist in this particular society.
Right.
And as a result of anybody who thinks that it is okay to just hop in with one of the most skilled hunters on the planet.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Pound for pound. Put it like this. Have you ever tried to fight a house cat?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a losing fight.
Exactly.
It is a house cat. They weigh, 3 pounds, maybe? Maybe. You decided that you wanted to do this with a 400-pound, all-muscle cat.
Yeah.
This was you stood there and said, oh, look at the pretty kitty.
All muscles. All muscles.
Let's take a selfie.
And it's not like their cousin, the leopard, that hunts mostly herbivores. Nigga, caiman, jaguars eat caiman.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
They eat little, they eat.
Caiman is the third largest reptilian on Earth.
Yeah.
Or the third largest crocodilian, pardon me, with their cousins, the Nile crocodile and the American alligator, who happen to be a little bit bigger than them.
That's a fact.
Thank you for the education, because I had no damn clue what y'all was talking about.
Oh,
I was over here like, what the fuck is that shit?
Jaguars eat fucking crocodiles.
Right.
Like, they just jump in the fucking river and kill them and eat them. Like, she lucky to be alive.
Yeah.
The jaguar probably looked at her real quick. It was like, this bitch tripping.
Yeah, he just taught her. He just taught her a lesson.
Let me bat her right quick. Just bow. Take that with you. And if you've ever seen a cat play with something, they just bat it around. That's all they do. They ain't trying to necessarily kill it just yet.
And the worst thing about it, after all that happened and they got her out, she didn't even get the fucking picture taken. She didn't even get that far. Like, that's the equivalent of.
She almost got her ass ate.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. Like, how? First of all, how slow are you on the draw, and how unprepared are you before you hop this barrier that you ain't ready to take the picture when you get in there? Secondly, that shows you how fucking fast that jaguar is that you ain't even get to you can't even press click on your phone before he get to you. Like, that's how quick they are.
Let me tell you something. If you turn your back on these cats, like, that's what triggers their instinct to fucking go in hunt mode. Yeah. So she probably jumped in the fucking barrier, turned her back, was playing with her modes and shit, and her lighting and shit.
Yeah, telling the jaguar to get in the frame. Like,
hello?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Jay, I thought I lost you, Jay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was probably doing saying stupid shit to her friends.
Yeah.
Like, oh God.
Hey guys, is he in the frame? Hey.
That Jaguar was trying to
you know what she heard next?
Yeah, shit. Swipe. But
Swipe.
But yeah, so
The sad part is if the Jaguar would have killed her, they would have had to kill the Jaguar.
yeah, exactly.
killed the Jaguar.
Yeah.
And the Jaguar, as a catch, figured that out. So he just batted her one
Yeah.
time like
No, but not only that, but here's the fuck shit. It wouldn't have been his fault.
Nah.
No.
It ain't never their fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, it ain't never their fault.
Oh, so you just gonna come? So you just gonna bring dinner to me? That's what you gonna do.
Yeah.
You just gonna come in here like, okay, that's all right. Come on in here.
But
You
that's
know who I am.
Yeah, but that's
Let me
what
let you
gets
know
me.
who I am.
Right. That's what gets me. Like, you know, I've heard the story about the frog and the scorpion, right? When they the scorpion and the frog are trying to get over the river, and you know the frog is like, "I'll give you a ride. You can float on my back." But the scorpion and the frog is like, "But I don't want to do it because I think you might sting me." And the scorpion's like, "Nah, I ain't gonna sting you because we both die. You know, I'm gonna kill you and then I'm gonna drown. So no, I need you to get over the river." So he talks the frog into doing it, and the frog's like, "Okay, hop on my back. We'll go over the river." Halfway across the river, the fucking scorpion stings the frog, and he dies, and they both die. And on the way down, the frog is like, "Shit, nigga, why did you sting me? We're gonna die." And the scorpion looks at him and was like, "Shit, nigga, I'm a scorpion. That's what I do."
It's in my nature.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't understand why humans can't figure that shit out before we go jumping our asses over barriers into zoos. Like, first of all, the fact that you're in a zoo and they have to have these animals in cages to keep them away from you should tell you, on top of, like we said before, that sign that says don't hop this fucking barrier or try to feed the animal. Like, but what makes you special? Like, first of all, I want to know who the motherfuckers are that are going into these barriers and these cages and getting out to tell the stupid motherfuckers, "Hey, you should try it too. I did it. You should try it." Like, I've never heard of anybody surviving that. So why do people continue to do
Everybody
it?
wants to be first, Jay.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be first.
She was Caucasian, wasn't she?
Oh, I wasn't going to say nothing, man. I wasn't even going to say nothing. But, and I thought it was
You
a
didn't
given.
have to.
Yeah, right. Of course she was. Yeah. I mean, you know, ain't gonna be a brother. You know, ain't gonna be a sister. I mean, shit. We barely like to go out in the backyard and feed our dog. We ain't hopping into no cage with no fucking jaguar. That shit ain't happening.
But I mean, on a positive note, whatever his scratch marks leave, them scars is probably gonna cover up what would have been a tramp stamp anyway.
Yeah, probably so.
So
Yeah.
you know, that's probably a good thing for some drunk people at a bar. Where
Right.
like,
Right.
what happened to you? Look, you know, you looking kind of nice. What happened to you? Oh, I got mauled by a jaguar. Oh, that was you, bitch? Never mind.
So come on over here. Tell us about that story. Like, oh man. But yeah, speaking of privileged motherfuckers doing stupid shit, so everybody knows Becky from Full House, Uncle Jesse's wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. And everybody's heard of Desperate Housewives, the lady who narrates the show, who was dead the whole time narrating the show, Felicity Huffman. So Lori Loughlin, who was Aunt Becky, and Felicity Huffman were amongst 50 people charged and arrested by the FBI today for being amongst 50 people who were a part of a college admissions scam. Y'all heard about this? So, all together, not as a collective, but all together, these 50 people spent $25 million to pay a dude to bribe people to get their kids into colleges they otherwise didn't qualify for. So, for instance, Aunt Becky, Lori Loughlin, she paid $500,000 to get her daughter into, I think it was USC. And some of these people went so far as to bribe coaches to recruit their kids for sports they didn't even play in high school. Even further, what they did, now this is how far they went with the shit. They were sending in photos of their kids playing these sports, and they would Photoshop their kids' faces onto the actual athletes at the schools, right? At their high schools. So they would take an athlete from the high school, Photoshop their kid's picture on it, and send it in to the coaches like, yeah, that's my kid. He plays basketball. Yeah, that's my kid. He plays lacrosse. And it was just Photoshopped the whole fucking so it was a huge, so it were like, of course, actresses, CEOs, executive bankers, like all these people who, for one, have the money to send their kid anywhere they want. But because their kid didn't put in the work to get into the one school they wanted to go to, they had to fork over millions, $500,000, thousands of dollars to get their kid into a school they wouldn't have qualified for. We're talking about, again, USC, Stanford, Yale, Harvard, to the point that the FBI, in the FBI statement, the investigator in charge said this is the catalog of privilege and wealth. And that's exactly what it is. I don't know, man. Money, your kid don't get into the school they want to get into. You forking over $1 million to bribe somebody?
I mean, nah, not me. First of all, I ain't got a meal to do it.
Even if I got it.
I ain't wealthy or privileged. So I just what I can say is, and once again, not the, I can almost bet you that the majority of these people are Caucasian, and they are wealthy.
They all were.
And I can say that I believe that people of the Caucasian persuasion have been doing this for decades.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This has been going on for a while, but yeah, they've been doing that in general.
This has been going on for they've been doing this in general for a while. Yeah. The crazy thing is, I in my ignorance didn't even realize that shit was a crime because, until I seen all them charges come down, I wouldn't have thought anything was wrong with that. Honestly, Jay, I just thought that was the way the world worked. So basically, instead of paying the $50,000 a year tuition, I don't understand. If you're gonna, because I think I read somewhere I thought somebody paid $500,000 or something crazy like that. Well, just pay the fucking tuition.
Yeah, and I mean, like, if you can't get in, I guess you got to bribe somebody. But that's my thing. There's so much privilege in that shit that if I can't get into the one school I want to get into, like, instead of accepting, like, if I can't go to USC, saying, hey, well, I want to go to Cal. Like, no, I want to go to USC so badly. Pay $1 million to get me in. Like, that's like the epitome of privilege.
Dude, these are the same. I bet you one of these kids is friends with the chick who jumped in with the Jaguar.
Right. Yeah.
Like, was going in immediately following, like, she got it, I'm going to go get one too. You got to also keep in mind, these are privileged, white, more than anything, the women are the part that are making me laugh. Privileged white women be having me die laughing. But the fact that Uncle Jesse's wife,
right,
Becky, Lori Loughlin,
how apropos,
talking to you now. That's your kid was so mediocre.
Right.
You spent some of your Full House syndication money to try and get her photographed on a rowing machine so that they can say she was the captain of the crew team.
Right.
To get her, just to keep her close to home.
Yeah.
Now, one of the other schools on here is Wake Forest.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the epitome
And
of the original.
it's not easy to get into Wake Forest either. Yeah.
It's definitely not easy, but the original privilege, if you want to think about how this started,
Yeah.
Wake Forest University is presently in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. But it began in Wake Forest, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
R.J. Reynolds, you know, from Newports and shit. R.J. Reynolds had so much money that when his daughter wanted to go to Wake Forest, which is right now probably an hour and a half from Winston, maybe 2, in a car, he literally had enough money to move the whole school.
The whole damn school. Yes.
I did not know that.
Yes. Yeah.
That's how Wake Forest is in Winston-Salem, and there's a Wake Forest, North Carolina.
Yes.
Because that's where the school was at first.
Right. Like, yeah, dudes so paid
from
they.
the beginning of that school. This has been happening for that long, to Money's point.
Right.
It's been happening the whole time.
Yeah. This dude so paid the building that our Pepsi offices are in Wake Forest. He sold that building to Pepsi for $1. Like, yeah, I don't even want the shit. Just sell it to him for $1. Like, because he could. And he had to show that he sold it for something. But, yeah, you're right. This shit has been happening forever. And what gets me is those same people will tell our kids and tell black and brown folks all the time, yeah, if you try hard, you can do it. Pick yourself up by the bootstraps. And, you know, everyone has an opportunity to make it. You just got to make. And then they go pay $1 million because their kid too stupid to get into what school they want to get into. Like that's so counterintuitive to me.
Wow.
But abnormally hilarious.
It is. It's fucking funny.
It is. It's very hilarious.
News I got all day.
Yeah,
when
like
I saw that, I was like,
yeah,
no.
yeah, like Felicity Huffman has 2 daughters. She wanted to get into USC. She paid $250,000, and apparently she knows one of her daughters is not too bright, and she obviously favors the other daughter a little more. And she was talking cash cold shit about her daughter through email, and just following this shit up with ruh-roh. I ain't mean to say that about my daughter, but can you get her in the USC, please? Like, wow. Yeah. But just
that's what I'm saying. How much is USC's tuition?
I don't know. Yeah, so on top, yeah, and that's the thing to me is, do they have to pay the tuition? What, are they going to pay the tuition on top of that? Like, once I pay $1 million to get you in, now I got to pay tuition as well. Unless I decide that, hey, let's contact the swim team coach and get you a scholarship and just Photoshop your face onto the best swimmer at your school. Like, that's fucking crazy to me.
But the way that the NCAA hawks that scholarship money, though, I wouldn't. Or maybe they just hawk it when the athletes are black. But I don't know. I just feel like the NCAA keeps so much that money. Like, you can't just have 2 scholarships for people that they ain't nobody ever seen before.
Well, now it's coming out of all, because now there's the other side of it. Because now there are admissions directors and coaches who are now being brought into this as well. So all the coaches who took those bribes, I'm sure they could hide it until they got caught. So now all that's going to start to come out is all these programs at these schools, for one, programs that don't make money, are all these coaches are going down with this whole thing because they're the ones that took the bribes. And apparently all these people handed their money over to one dude. So this one guy was an admissions consultant for several colleges across the nation, and he would just take their money and bribe their way into whatever college they want to get into.
And that's the dude that snitched.
That was just a patsy.
Yeah, and he's the one who got caught, and initially he and immediately he pled guilty. So, so the feds went and picked up.
The other thing he did was he said it was all me. He's the small guy.
Yeah.
Where's the smoke? Where's the mirrors? The family back east showed up, you know. They gave him a visit. They told him, hey, my people, they're getting ready to go down. Instead, it's going to be you.
Right.
Take care of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was awful, man. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Hey, Yosh.
hilarious stuff.
Hey, Yoshi.
Yep.
So, what would your reaction be if some parent done photoshopped their kid's face onto your on the Trey's high school picture from the like what would your reaction be to that if like your best player, you realize some kid who ain't never played, his face is on Trey's body?
The level of laughter
Can you imagine
that I would have, and then I would probably I'm good at Photoshop, so I would probably go and put both pictures side by side, and I would blast them all over social media. I would instantly do it. Instantly.
Oh, man.
Or no matter of fact, I wasn't thinking like the person that I am. I would send the picture to the people that created the picture and say, "Hey, look, you probably paying them about $500,000. I'm gonna need about $250.
Yep.
Not to put this out. I'm gonna need about $250 not to put this out. I get that $250, I'll delete this picture. But if you try to pay me $249, I'm putting it out.
I'm releasing this shit. Hell yeah.
I'm releasing this shit.
That's crazy.
So yeah. I gotta capitalize. They gonna pay somebody.
Yo,
I'd rather it be me.
Wouldn't it be nuts though if Trey put up 40 points in a game and you go to the newspaper the next morning and it's his body dunking with another kid's face on it though in the paper? Yo, that shit would be hilarious.
I be getting paid. Because off top I know. Because the funny thing is, those uniforms we got, I created from scratch.
Yeah.
No other school has that.
But on top of that, every kid you coach. So if some dude who ain't never played, his face is with his tongue out like Mike, dunking on folks. He's I don't know that kid.
Or what would be really funny is if they put a white face on a black body.
That's right.
Because these are all white people, apparently.
Oh,
and
yeah,
excuse our white demographic that listens to the show. Those that listen to the show, we love you.
We do.
You, we love. Them other people that paid $500,000 to put their child in the school, when you could have just paid the tuition, to Money's point, you suck and you deserve everything you get at this point.
Oh, man. But yeah, I mean, and the part that really sucks, though, seriously, is all the spots that they were taking of kids who actually qualified to get into that school who didn't get those spots, who didn't get that scholarship money or whatever they missed out on. That sucks for those kids because there are a lot of kids who otherwise, wouldn't be able to afford to go to any college and that bust their ass to get into the college that they want to. And, again, privilege and power and money trumps all that shit.
Full house money. That's full house money.
Exactly.
You gotta say the whole
thing. And even newer Netflix Fuller House money.
Yeah. Fuller House money.
Is she on that? She's on that?
Yeah, she's on there.
I had no clue.
Yeah,
I don't think she'll be on there anymore.
I doubt it.
No, she's done. If Jesse Smollett got fired, she got fired.
Yeah, she gonna be in a different Full House.
The show called The Big House.
The Big House.
Bigger house. Be Orange is the New Black.
Orange is the New Black.
Did y'all see some of the athletic programs from the dummy scholarships and shit? It's Division I scholarship sports that I didn't even know existed. But apparently, most of these people are in California, so they have D1 sports like canoeing and kayaking and shit. So it was kayaking.
Yeah.
Kayaking.
So the NCAA probably had this same conversation. We got fucking kayaking. That's why they didn't keep up with that shit. They was we got canoeing.
The NCAA came busting in the room real serious with a whole bunch of folders guys, we might have a problem.
Yo, you know what I just realized? Now, full disclaimer, when it was out, I was a fan of Desperate Housewives. Mm-hmm. And the girl that's on it, I just seen the picture. The woman is not the one that died. The woman is the one who was always looking for more. She had like 10 kids, she's the one who was married to the husband. Yeah, this looked like her character on the show would do that shit. So it don't surprise me that she did it. Yeah, she would do that shit. Yeah, she would do that shit. She would do it. Yeah. And then this picture they got of what's Auntie what's her name was?
And Becky.
Becky. She looked like she guilty. This bitch right here. Yeah. She looked like she was like shit.
Yeah. But they weren't playing though, like, and usually for like celebrities, and especially if we're gonna be real, especially for white celebrities, they let them, get some time with their family, have a few last meals, go get drunk one night and turn themselves in when it's convenient. No, they went and picked their asses up. Like when the feds show up and pick you up, they ain't playing with your ass. Like
guns drawn on a desperate housewife.
Right. And even occasionally, like they'll show up and, even if you fuck up bad enough, they'll go pick up a white dude. They don't usually go pick up white women. Like they just don't.
Shout out to the FBI right quick. This is the one time the feds did it. They got it all the way right.
Man.
They kicking down doors of white women and shit. This
right.
A new world in this motherfucker.
Man.
Like it's a whole new world we got going on.
Yeah.
Shout out to whoever wrote that report. Like, guys.
Yeah. Like, check this shit out.
This is I'm not even, man. We wasn't even looking for this, and look at this.
Right.
That's the best.
But it's only gonna get worse, though. I mean, because as names on the other side,
we were looking for a way to figure out how black people were getting money funneled to them to go to school, and this is what we found.
Right.
And this is what we tripped over.
Exactly.
Yeah, they was probably looking. Exactly, they was probably looking into some niggas.
No, yeah, they was trying to find the next Reggie Bush. They was trying to find the nigga that got paid. They was trying to find some black kid who was about to win the Heisman, whose parents got a new house. Like they was trying to find that shit. They weren't trying to find this shit. And next thing you know, they go looking through the money, and they like, hold up, is this our Becky? What the fuck is our Becky? Oh shit. So yeah. Oh man. Yeah, that was some funny shit. But on some listener questions, hopefully this week's listener questions can top last week's listener questions, because what did we end up talking about? An hour and a half on our listener questions last week?
You also fired shots at people.
We did fire shots at people. Yeah, we created all out. Our listeners created an all out beef. Almost broke up a marriage. Almost got my ass whooped by a nigga named Zeus. Like, our listeners were stirring the pot last week. So
they got a few people wives body bag counts.
Yeah, for real. Right. Yeah, man. Yeah, they got poop punched in the mouth, like all kind of stuff. So
we found out everybody got a book, like all these.
Everybody got a body bag for real, man.
Everybody got a body count book somewhere.
So I listened to this emails from this week. Y'all got some big shoes to fill. So first, from Nita from Orlando. It's a good question. Interesting because I like the questions where they really like try to get to know us. So this is pretty cool. So, Money, Nita from Orlando wants to know, what's the best book you've ever read, and what's your favorite movie of all time?
All right, so let me start with the best book I've ever read, and it's gonna be a weird one, but feel me on this one. The best book I've ever read is the Bible.
Okay.
So I thought you was going.
Shit is pretty entertaining.
It could because honestly, for what Jay said, it's historically accurate or not. It is highly entertaining. Whether you're following the story of the Hebrews, the Jews and just their trek out of slavery in Egypt, some of the wars that they fought, some of the characters. Like the Bible is a highly entertaining book. So the very first way that I describe the Bible is a book that describes the Hebrew people's relationship with God. And then the subplots and all of that. Like, of course, the moral compass and all that. But the very first thing that it does is it establishes a relationship between the Hebrew people and their God, and it describes that relationship. And so at least in my definition. So,
sorry, buddy, I gotta ask you right quick. Are we talking Old Testament or New Testament? Because the Old Testament is the best-selling novel of all time.
Oh, absolutely. And the old
and apples and stuff. People was naked. It was a lot of. It was hilarious. It was a lot of people. The whole cities was getting blown up by Matt Damon.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But do we actually? I mean, I know you said it. Like maybe not. But does anybody actually think the Bible is historically accurate?
Some people do.
Anybody with any non-bias.
Some people do.
With Jaguars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. I guess yes. Fair enough. Some people do. I'll leave it there. You're right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Some people do.
All right. So the Bible. All right. What's your favorite movie ever, man?
The Matrix 1.
Okay. All right.
Hashtag. Oh, actually, no, I lied. Sorry. The Matrix 1 is a close second to Bad Boys 2. Bad Boys 2 is my favorite movie ever created.
All right. And some people think that is historically accurate. So, okay. Makes sense.
That was Mike Lowry.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. Yosh. What's the best book you've ever read, and what's your favorite movie ever?
The best book I've ever read it's actually tied to it's kind of nostalgic for me. My dad was an avid reader. I think that's kind of why I'm an English teacher today. And early on in my life, my dad he came back from Vietnam hooked on heroin. So he really didn't have a lot of money. But growing up in Brooklyn, what he would do is he would come to the house, my grandmother's house, and pick my brother and my sister up and take us on the train, and we would ride into the village, and we would go to bookstore, and you could read the books, and you can go to any bookstore and actually start reading. But he didn't have any money to actually buy us the book, and so I was never really interested in it. And so one time he gave me a book that got me interested in reading. It was called Black Girl Lost by Donald Goines.
Donald Goines, yeah.
One of the best writers of all time. People know the story. Donald Goines was a former pimp, street hustler, who, while he was locked up, wrote a plethora of books on just people that he knew and that he met in his travels. And Black Girl Lost was the first book I ever read cover to cover. I recently had my daughters, 14 and 13, I had them read it and had a discussion with them about it because there's so much in that book that has to do with young women, but it got me interested in reading, and I started reading all of his books. So that got me started reading, and if you have a young girl, high school age, I suggest you having them read it and then having a discussion with them, or even reading it with them. Because I actually ended up reading it with them. We would read chapter by chapter and discuss. I would have them do little paragraphs and stuff and write, and just to get them to express themselves about what they had read. It's a short read, very, very easy read. But my favorite book of all time, because that got me into reading, but once I started really reading, was called The Lion's Game by Nelson DeMille. It's a story about this this NYPD officer, and he's his adversary is this terrorist whose father is Saddam Hussein. And apparently during the George Bush era, they tried to kill Saddam, Daddy Bush, George Bush Sr. They tried to kill Saddam by bombing what they thought was his home. But the kid was the son of Saddam's many wives, and they ended up killing the guy's mom. So he becomes this terrorist. He gets arrested on purpose in France and gets transported from France to New York with U.S. Marshals. Kills everybody on the plane, including the pilots, before the plane lands. Goes into the FBI office, kills all the FBI agents, and then commences to kill every single pilot that was in that bombing, and then goes after the president after he's retired. And it's kind of a cat and mouse game between him and the NYPD officer who's paired up with an FBI agent. And it is a very, very dope book. It is a long read, but it is, if you're into stuff like that, like I couldn't put it down. And then they have a part 2 to it that's called The Lion. And that's because they leave the book open-ended. And it's really, it's a really, like, if you're into that type of stuff, it's really, really good. But that's my favorite book of all time is The Lion's Game. It's really, really dope. Really, really dope book.
All right.
Yo, tell me again who wrote that?
Nelson DeMille. DeMille.
Gotcha.
All right.
I keep a list of great books when I get a good good recommendation.
Hey, listen, man. Like when I tell you, Jason, like you will not put it down. Like I'm gonna tell y'all this right now. Like once because it starts with the control tower not being able to get contact with the plane. How the hell he gets off the plane amidst all these dead people? Like it's crazy. Like. And you just keep, and turn by turn, he's beating them until, like, I don't want to be a spoiler for the ending of the book, but it's dope.
Don't go too far.
Yeah, don't go too far.
No, it's a dope. It's a dope book. And I'm into that stuff because like reading is how me and my dad kind of connected. And he likes international intrigue and spies and all of that stuff. Like, so I kind of took to that and read that. And, to be as messed up on drugs as he was, to be that intellectual and to be able to read, like, I really wanted to, I channeled that from my dad. So
cool. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, what's your favorite movie ever?
Well, you know me. I'm a technology person. And one of the best movies of all time. This is one of the scenes from it. Kaiser.
Usual suspects, baby.
Suspects. Verbal Kint. Man, listen, that movie, the first time I watched it was it's possibly one of the best movies. It is the best movie I've ever watched. Ever in my life. It's just, you can't, like, he's walking crooked foot, and all of a sudden his feet become straight. And he hops in that car. Man, listen, that is it's a classic. Usual Suspects with one of the best actors of all time, Kevin Spacey. I know he's screwed up and he can't act no more. Like, they ain't gonna let him act in anything anymore.
And they shouldn't.
He's grabbing dicks, man.
There's a lot of, he out here, dancing on poles. It's fine. He can do his thing, but he can act. He can act his ass off. And that movie was one of the best movies. That and Navy SEALs. I couldn't figure out which one was the best for me, but I think I lean more towards Usual Suspects because like nobody knew Virgo Kent was Kaiser Soze until the end. Nobody. So
That's a fact.
Because I don't care who you were. I don't care who you did not see that coming.
I had to watch this shit like 5 times, and like still trying to pick out like when does it give any clue that's what's going on? Yeah. And they never do. Like they never do.
And he showed these men of will what real will was. He killed his wife, killed the kids, and showed them that one didn't nothing else matter. What? Come on, man. Like that. That's a good movie. All right. Now, I will say this. If you ask Lynn, she will tell you that another movie is my favorite movie. You cannot believe her because we know from the Relationship Status podcast that all women lie. So, you cannot believe her. She will say something else. I know the movie she will say. It is not my favorite movie.
Which movie will she say?
Black men don't cheat.
And black men don't cheat.
All right. So which movie would she say is your favorite?
I can neither confirm nor deny those allegations.
Okay.
I'm just saying that is not true.
All right. It's gonna be like
This like he said, 1, 2, 3, 4,5.
Jay, West Coast Jay, what's the best book you've ever read?
Man, I got to touch on both of their answers first. The Bible was up there for me. The Old Testament is for real one of the funniest, best novels ever. Mm-hmm. Like the life lessons you get from it are cool, but the stories are so outlandish,
insane.
They're so ridiculous. Leviticus, everybody died for nothing, and they tell you why. Like everybody died, no matter. If this happened on a Tuesday, sacrifice a goat. If this happened on a Thursday, kill all of them. Like, wait, what? It is hilarious. Hilarious. And I'm still stuck on the snake and the chick with the apple or the pomegranate, depending on who you're talking to. But either way it goes, I'm still stuck. That story be having me rolling off top. But let me say, and then to touch on your Donald Goines, my favorite Donald Goines book was Daddy Cool. It was about a hitman who used throwing knives.
Oh, yeah, don't worry about Daddy Cool. Daddy Cool. What was the other one? God dog it, what's the other one?
Daddy Cool and Horse Son.
Horse Son
was one of the coldest books ever.
Horse Son was one of. Now I read every single Donald Goines book. Horse Son was good.
It was one of the coldest. One of the coldest, which leads me to the another book that I thought about real hard was Pimp by Iceberg Slim.
Pimp was really good. Yeah, that was a good fucking book. Yeah.
So when you said Donald Goines, I was over there like, well, that eliminates answer number 2. Mm-hmm. When Money said the Bible, it's like, well, there goes the Old Testament. That's out. Mm-hmm. So then I was left with a toss-up between 3 different books. And I think that Siddhartha by Herman Hesse is about to beat out The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho.
The Alchemist.
And the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. That's the best book I've ever read. It was Siddhartha. It's a story about a dude who starts out as a kid. He's an Indian dude, and he goes around, and by the end of his life, he's done so much stuff. The journey takes you all over the place. He becomes a yogi. He becomes a famous courtesan's lover, boy toy. He becomes...
So he's like the Indian Forrest Gump.
Kind of. That's one way of looking at it. Except extremely short read.
Gotcha.
That's the one thing that's funny about it. It goes so quick. It's another page turner, but it'll be done before you get off the toilet. If you read in the bathroom like I do.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like it'll be done that quick, but it is the journey this kid takes is It's all spiritual. That's why The Alchemist is real spiritual as well. You know, it's another journey type book. Like I'm a fan of the books where somebody has to learn who they are. You know, who they become. They become through these long, drawn out journeys, and they meet people, and they meet wise men and wise women, and the book is awesome. And again, it's short. So for all y'all that don't like to read, like I said, it's a good solid 2 bathroom break. You'll be done with it because it is a page turner.
Right.
The Alchemist and The Art of War. I like those two as well.
Yeah. Art of War, honorable mention. I'll give you that, son.
Yeah.
And I never understood people that don't like to read.
Yeah.
Well, those are idiots.
Yeah,
well,
basically, they take selfies with Jaguar.
Yeah, well, I ain't gonna say that because before I get to mine, I'm not gonna say that because I kind of agree, but I won't say they're idiots just because people like to do things that they consider relaxing.
Jay, the thing about it is,
let me finish though.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying you don't even know what I'm saying.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. My bad.
There you go.
I will shut up now.
I'm saying, other people do things that they consider relaxing or enlightening or even educational that I don't like, and they may look at me as an idiot. So I won't bash somebody who doesn't like to read. Because it's one of those things that I could see somebody saying, I just can't sit there and read a book. Some people can't sit still long enough. Some people, so I get it. I don't agree with it, but I get it. I wouldn't go so far as to call him an idiot. I don't know.
Okay, you don't have to. You don't have to. I will.
Yeah.
Because my thing is, like, and we live in a microwave society. All right, so I have to have it instantly. If I can't see it on social media, if I can't watch a video of it, if I can't download it, if it's something that I can't instantly have, it becomes something that I can't handle or I can't deal with. And they say if you want to hide something from somebody, put it in a book. Actually, the thing is, if you want to hide something, if you want to hide something from a black man, put it in the book, or a black person, put it in the book. And I think that we are our demographic is the least read people in the United States, in the world, probably. And that's because
black men.
Yeah, black men. Yeah, I'm talking about black men. Because we refuse to pick up a book. If you read The Art of War or, The Alchemist, like there's so much in that that you can take out of it that you can apply to your every single day life. That is like, shoot, even if you read, I try to read the newspaper every day. I literally try to go to the store, buy a newspaper, and read it every day because I feel like you have to take it in to be able to analyze it. I tell my students, you've got to be able to read between the lines, and the only way you can read between the lines is to actually read the fucking content. Because if they want to do shit to you, they're gonna put it in a fucking book. They're gonna put it in words. They're not gonna make a video about the shit.
Yeah, I get it. I absolutely agree.
And that's why I say they're idiots. Yes, I have my daughters read Black Girl Lost because it was something that had something to do with a young lady who had been through something. Yes, 'tis true. But it got my daughters to read. It was an interesting book that got them to read, and it got them interested in other books. So now when I get with them, it's like, hey, we're gonna go to the bookstore. Y'all gonna pick out a book. We're gonna, you're gonna read it, and then we're gonna talk about it. Which means now I'm reading what they're reading, because to have an intellectual conversation with my child, I have to be able to read whatever they're reading, and I'm getting them to read.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with what you're saying, but
I don't feel like there's enough emphasis on it.
No, I agree with what you're saying.
It's just on bias.
Yeah,
it's just on bias.
I get you, but what I'm saying is, for me, and this is my opinion, is that I have vices that people could look at me and say, this motherfucker need to work out more. This motherfucker need to stop drinking. Like, so it's other things that people could look down their nose at me and call me an idiot. So I wouldn't classify somebody who doesn't like to read as an idiot, because I'm far from perfect. And I wouldn't take reading as being my tool to, like, look down my nose at somebody.
Okay, well, Jay, let me ask you this. Do you like to read?
Yeah, I love to read. But that's what I'm saying.
Like, and let me say this. I don't.
Yeah.
I hate reading, but I understand the importance of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I fight what I know I don't like to do because I know the importance of it. And what I get from it is way better than what I would get had I not done it.
Yes, I get that, and I agree. But what I'm saying is that's not what I'm not arguing with you on that. What I'm saying is that, like, I hate to work out. Like, if it doesn't involve competition, like, I hate to, like, just go to the gym and get on a treadmill. I hate that shit. There are people who love that shit who would say, look at this motherfucker. He don't even want to go get on. Yeah. Like, if I'm playing ball, or if it's competition involved, I love that shit. But if it's just like going to the gym just to go, like, walk in place for a fucking hour, I hate that shit. But it's people that love that shit.
Me and this fucking treadmill,
yeah.
Just that, I hate that shit.
Yeah, but it's people that love that shit that would look at me like, you fucking idiot. Don't you know what good that is doing for your body? Like, you get what I'm saying? So there's other things. So I ain't arguing with the fact that people need to read, or people should want to read. I put it that way. Because, yeah, I agree with everything you're saying. I was just saying I wouldn't call them idiots, because, I mean, yeah. But, but I'm the nice one on this show.
Shouts out to Nita. And Nita.
Yeah, real quick.
No, we are not going there because I ain't even gave my book and my movie, and Jay ain't even gave his movie yet. Before you start waxing poetic about, you over here waxing poetic about, yeah.
Wow.
Can't wait to hit on our listeners. Jason, what's your favorite movie, sir?
I'm over here trying to worry about poetic justice. Yoshi over here
for
trying
real.
to get it everybody.
Man, just turning the show into late night quiet storm every week.
Ooh,
no.
Oh boy.
Every time we have to come in. This is hilarious. Every time I listen to y'all,
this is not Defy Life Radio, sir.
Right. Yoshi in there, whoever is sent in, all of the ladies. I hope this doesn't discourage you from writing in questions, thinking trying to get in your drawers.
But he is.
He probably is.
But it's cool though.
Ain't no problem.
Know that. Know that.
It's cool. You're hilarious, man. Anyway, so with that said, my favorite movie all time, normally I like to give a top 5 because it's hard to do that. But my favorite movie all time, gun to my head, is Harlem Nights. What? I live for comedies. Right. Live for comedies. And that is the all-starest, comediest, nine-toe having his hoe in Harlem. Everybody had lines in that movie. Red Fox had lines. Della Reese had lines. Like, everybody had lines.
Yeah.
Everybody. That's what I say.
Nice.
If it's on, I'm going to watch it. Unless it's on regular TV.
Yeah, I can't watch it on regular TV. Yeah.
No. Can't watch it on TNT. I just get angry that ain't no hoop on or something, and then turn it off. But other than that, Harlem Nights is the hands down 100% winner for me.
All right. Yeah,
and
Harlem Nights was.
I guess we got to get back to the sultry stylings.
No, because I got to give mine, and then we're moving on to our next question. we
try to get you back there, yo.
Hey, no, one thing you ain't never got to do, Chase, is try to get me back in because I'm already in.
Oh, shit.
My bad, player.
Oh, God.
Player.
Oh, God.
Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah. So occasionally when we're down a host, I get an opportunity to give my answers to these. So sometimes I enjoy these moments when we down a host and I get a chance to answer the questions. So I will take this opportunity. But yeah, so my favorite book, I always look at, I have different favorite books from different times of my life, right? So as a kid, like my favorite book was Indian in the Cupboard. I love that fucking book. And I passed it down to my kids. My kids have read the whole series, so I've got like this nostalgic attachment with that book.
Right.
But I say like my favorite book of all time is Souls on Ice by Eldridge Cleaver. And just the rawness of it, because it's his memoirs from when he was in prison, and just the rawness of his writing style, because he wasn't like a trained writer, and he was so rough around the edges, and all of his thoughts were just like, it was like he was having a conversation. So Soul on Ice is my absolute favorite book of all time. Close second would be The Godfather. And I say The Godfather is second only because I hated the fucking movie. I hated the Godfather movies. So that kind of pushes the book down a little bit because it was attached to that fucking movie. Everybody loves the movies. I hate the Godfather movies. And my favorite.
Damn, why? What happened? What's wrong with the Godfather, Jay?
I hate to, when you talk to somebody and they talk about a movie and then somebody else always like, the book was better, you need to read the book. Like, I hate to be that dude, but the book was so much better than the movies. All the books were better than the movies. But the movie was just slow and boring to me. I couldn't get into it. Yes. So with that being said, my favorite movie of all time, without a doubt, I'll drop everything I'm doing if Shawshank Redemption is on TV. Every now and then I just got to pull it out and watch it. Shawshank, I can watch it. Shout out to Randall Stevens. Even though you don't really exist, you are out there somewhere. But Shawshank is my favorite movie of all time. Can't beat it.
Keep it simple. I like it.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Shawshank is, of course, the story behind it, the relationships, between the characters. I've always had this curiosity about prison escapes, and it's two things I've always had a curiosity about since a kid, and it's prison escapes and serial killers. So to see how the mind works and the meticulousness of somebody breaking out of prison, all that shit, it was dope to me. So yeah. So shout out Nita. Oh God.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
Shouts out to Nita.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Nita.
Boys and girls.
Info at godefylife.com. Nita, just put your phone number in. You ain't even got to put nothing in the subject. No subject, and when they open it, it's the phone number. And Jay knows to send that to me. Because you are my sweet lady, baby.
Oh, God.
Hit me up. The Quiet Storm, baby. That's yours. I am the Quiet Storm.
I'm not even mad. That was so amazing.
Oh, God. Thank you so much, Nita. Thank you, and I'm sorry.
I'm sorry too. Hashtag I'm sorry too.
Hashtag me too, Nita. No, not me too. Sorry, scratch that.
Hey there.
Yeah. Nah. Forget I even said that, Nita. Moving on to Isaiah from Charlotte.
Okay, no, we ain't playing that for Isaiah. Yeah, at least you know you got me straight on this one.
Hey, yeah, I'm pulling all dude emails from this point on. Sorry, ladies. Oh man, nah, man. Isaiah from Charlotte wants to know. Jesus, and this may even not apply to you, Yosh, since it may not include a celebrity. It may just be listener. But Yosh, which celebrity / Defy Life listener would you use your hall pass on?
Oh boy.
Play the disclaimer, yo. Play the disclaimer.
Please play
Let
the
me
disclaimer.
start there. Hold. Okay, I gotta pause that real quick because you are right. Because what I'm about to go into, what I'm about to go into needs this real quick.
The words and ideas that you are about to hear are those of Yoshi and him alone. They in no way represent the thoughts and ideas of Defy Life or the Defy Life Podcast Network.
And now
I can breathe again. All right, say it. What you got to say?
I gotta set the background music. I gotta set the mood for this. Let me say this. That goddamn Megan Good. Ooh. Has anybody really paid attention to her?
Oh yeah.
You mean like besides you?
Megan Good, my boo.
Her body, her lips. No, a lot of people don't pay attention. Because my if I was to have a hall pass, let me turn this down a little bit. If I was to have a hall pass, and it was for one night, there's a couple places I'd have to stop. Megan Good's house would be the last. Because I would have to stop at Ivory Ladder House first. Because I actually met her, and she know I got a crush on her. She know. And her little BMW, we can get it in. She ain't even gotta let me in the house. We can get it in the BMW.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh my God, this is happening.
And then she can drop me off. And I'm gonna go a little bit older here. Regina King house.
Okay.
We can make that happen. And then I'll leave Regina King house by Uber. And in the Uber would be Jada Fire. And for those who don't know who Jada Fire is, log on to www.xnxx.com and you search Jada Fire and you'll find out who that is.
Oh boy, Yo's going out with a bang.
And then me and Jada would get out the car, out the Uber, and go to Megan Good house and have a great, grandiose. It's only fun if the homies have some. And the homie is Jada Fire for that night with Megan Good. And 1 + 1 = 3, including me. That would be my hall pass.
Oh boy.
It is what it is, pimping.
Oh boy. Wow. I was so hoping and I was so hoping you weren't gonna start rattling off. No, I had to get that shit out of the way. I already knew what I was going. But I was so hoping you weren't gonna start rattling off Instagram models. So I'm grateful that you went with who you went with, even though Jada.
Oh no, the official Charlie.
Oh God,
who I actually know personally. Oh, Barbie Bands, who I actually know personally. Both of them did my cousin's bachelor party in the A.
Hold up, Barbie Bands. You know, I'm checking these people out right now.
Barbie Bands. Listen to me. If you in Orlando, she goes from Orlando, ATL. Ooh, listen. Let me tell you something. Very
Barbie
talented.
Bands with a TZZZ.
With a Z. Oh man. Oh God. Barbie bands.
Barbie bands with 3 Z's.
Let me make. Oh, I'll get you. Oh no, hey money. I'll get you.
Yo. Send that shit off.
No, it's BRBEE.BAND 1Z. It's 1Z.
Oh boy.
She is on it. Oh Lord.
Jay.
Anyway.
Who your hall pass for, man?
I'll be back.
We know.
Oh, I'm looking at Barbie bands. Hold on.
Oh man, come on.
Hold up. Oh, I got it, bro. I got it. We in the game. Don't worry. I think she was in the City Girls twerk videos. I think she was. I'm not even gonna act like I didn't see that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly.
That happened. So
hey, I'm gonna try to see if I can get on the show next week. I'm gonna call her see if she will come on the show next week.
Sorry, Jay.
Oh boy.
I know you usually expect me to be the behaved one.
But are y'all on her IG right now?
Where the fuck is Pooh when you need him?
yeah.
I'm gonna be on I'm gonna be on her IG the rest of the night.
At least the next 20 minutes. I'll give her 20 to 25 minutes solid. This is what I'm doing right now.
Shay, I'm about to put myself on mute. No, I'm fucking around.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah, shout out to Barbie bands.
Shouts out to Barbie bands.
Oh shit, yo, she a clown, yo.
Hey man, listen. Oh, first video in her timeline.
Oh yeah,
the very first video in her timeline. Yeah, she's a very talented young lady, smart too. Had very long conversations. A very interesting young lady.
Barbie band,
yeah. Fine as shit though. God damn, boy.
Yeah, that chocolate creature is that's there, right? That's what that is.
Hey.
That's there, right there.
Hey, West Coast J. Hey, West Coast J.
Yeah.
Since I'm gonna need for you to wait about 3 days to slide into them DMs because I'm in the DMs.
Got it. It's cool. I'll be on the West Coast on Friday. I'll check in. See what
now, Jay, I must say, if you look her up, she is one of the models that agreed to do the beat shoot for Defy Life, for the new Defy Life spring line.
Okay.
So.
Well, no, what's funny as fuck though? So I just go to her page, right? And this 18 seconds that it took me to get here, what's the first thing I see? Followed by GCH 9000. Money done followed her already. money quick as fuck. Money was like, first thing I'm gonna do is follow this hoe. And then oh shit. Yeah.
Hey, I'm about to like her last 2 years worth of pictures, and then I'm gonna slide in the DMs. Y'all know how it go. Y'all know how it go.
Oh boy.
Well, I'm here to enlighten the world. That's what I'm here to do.
Oh yeah. That's gonna bring some joy to a whole bunch of people. A whole bunch of listeners they're gonna be joyous after that.
But she cool as shit, y'all. She's really cool as hell. That's my dog. She cool as shit.
Well, if she down for she down for a Defy Life photo shoot, she all cool with me.
Oh yeah, she is. She said that she'd do it, so I just gotta hit up with a date and time, and we good to go.
Right.
Tomorrow night. What
at your house?
What time am I free? 9. Welcome to the Defy Life Studios.
I'm sorry, Jay. I'm sorry. Yoshi got me. See,
Oh,
man,
man.
I know what happens when you leave me around Yoshi too long.
What?
Hey, man, look, I blame me for this one. Sorry, y'all. It's that West Coast game. He can't help it, man.
Okay, I done distracted y'all long enough, man. Y'all go into y'all joints, man.
Jay.
You know what I'm saying? Yoshi over there staying dipped. It's cool.
West Coast Jay. Who's your hall pass target?
Oh yeah, so my hall pass is simple and it's been like this for entirely
y'all forgot we was talking about this shit, wasn't you? Y'all just hall pass.
My number one all time, Ashley Banks. Tatiana and Ali, as soon as I see you.
Oh, wow.
Sitting on site, there's going to be collars thrown on site. It will be, you will have Josh, can I get some music for this one? You will have, because, Tatiana and Ali, hi. You know, I did notice you. I had noticed you noticing me. And so I just wanted to give you a notice that I had noticed you back.
I got you better, Jay.
All right, appreciate you.
I got you better. We can't use the same songs.
No, we can. That's the greatest of all beautiful songs on time for me. I love that particular one.
Oh, okay. Well, we go back to it then. We'll go back to it then.
You know, because the only other option I got is to put on some Too Short, and then it becomes something different.
I was gonna go here with you.
Everybody put your music in.
You know, I'm just saying. Look. For sake of our listeners here cracking up. Oh yeah, okay. I see where you're going with this.
I'm going with that.
I'm
trying to play Cupid for you.
Yeah, I like what's going on. You know, it's cherubs and stuff around. They see me spotted from across the room. I slide up real smooth, like it's a little bit low. Tatiana M. Ali, a.k.a. Ashley Banks. Now, you know, I'm going to hit you with all the Fresh Prince lines for no reason. Because your legs got to be tired. You've been running through my mind my whole life.
Ooh, not all day, your whole life.
Shit.
Damn. Yo, I like West Coast J.
I'm saying the cardio is amazing. It's cool. We'll be in this for some time. So, you know, there's what is that, champagne? You like that? That's yours. What are these strawberries dipped in? Milk or dark? I prefer dark. It's the purest thing. I'm just saying. Anyway.
Oh, all right. Well, Jay went old school.
Hall pass all day, every day.
All right. All right. Money, you still alive, or you done dipped off in the old girl's DM?
I'm still alive, man. I'm still here.
All right. Who your hall pass candidate?
All right, man. I'm gonna go. God, that's gonna be tough, man. I'm gonna have to go with. If I had a top 5.
God, set up the whole night.
Yeah, he don't fucked everything up.
For my man, Money. Go ahead, man. You gotta go with it. You gotta go with it.
I'm feeling the music. I'm getting there. I'm getting into it.
Come on, bro. This
all right,
you got to hop in.
All right, I'm gonna start out with Rihanna. Give me Rihanna. I'll pass Rihanna. West Coast J. What's shorty name? Nathaniel Emmanuel, the black girl from Game of Thrones. Oh yeah, I got a little crush on her. The black girl from Game of Khaleesi's little home girl. Yeah, that's my little boo.
Hold on, I heard her name for you. It was her birthday a couple days ago.
Oh yeah? I think her name is Emmanuel or some shit.
Let's see, she plays me Sunday. Ooh, right here.
Yeah, you might want to know her
Natalie
name.
Emmanuel. You got it.
Yeah.
I got you, honey. We getting there.
Appreciate it. Yeah, that's my little boo. And my two favorites, Zoe Saldana, and Zoe Kravitz.
Okay.
Zoe Kravitz. I like where you going.
Yeah.
Everybody got a little Cosby show in them. Everybody like Lisa Bonet kids.
Right.
Shout out to Felicia Rashad. You can still get it.
Cool.
Felicia Rashad can get it, and Debbie Allen
can still have it.
Oh boy.
What about you, Jay?
Stefan, I'm lightweight talking to you. I'm lightweight talking to you, Gloria Stefan.
Gloria Stefan. Wow.
You can have it too.
Speaking of old Latinas, man, I gotta give a shout out. It's my all-time hall pass. It'll never expire. So Eva Mendes would.
Ooh, Eva Mendes, good one, Jay.
Yeah, Eva Mendes is always, she'll forever be on my list. But right now, my the top name on my hall pass list will be Demetria Obalor. I don't know if y'all know her, but she got to be the sexiest weather lady in the world. Oh my God! So
I know what you're talking about.
Know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So Demetria Obalor,
a little Dominican chick or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know if she's Cuban or Dominican or whatever she is. She might be mixed.
Venezuelan or something.
Yeah.
She's.
Yeah.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
But
so you can find her on Instagram at Demetria Obalor.
Yes, you can. Yes.
You go look.
Right.
You should look.
Yeah.
I'm about to go follow her.
Yeah. So I mean she dope. I mean she's beautiful, but then also like she'll be doing the weather and she'll start spitting Biggie. Like she dope. So shout out to you, Demetria Obalor. And she just she's a news personality, but she's like one of the dopest chicks I've ever seen. So So thank you, Isaiah, for posting that question. Give us all a little opportunity to fantasize a little bit, because half of the shit gonna never happen, except maybe Yoshi and Ivory Ladder, because I'm convinced Yoshi gonna get Ivory Ladder. I'm convinced of that.
Let me say this. Oh, she know. I'm coming for you.
Oh man. So Nita, Isaiah, thanks again, guys, for your questions. Everybody, we love our listeners. Y'all keep them coming. These questions are always dope.
Definitely.
If anybody want to ask a question or have anything addressed on the show, hit us up on social media at Go Defy Life and all platforms, or you can email us at info@godefylife.com. We were going to take a break really quick. When we come back, we will talk the Antonio Brown trade, the Odell Beckham trade, and we will get into some trivia. So we'll take a break really quickly, and we will be right back.
What's up, sis?
What's up, sis?
What you doing?
Getting ready to give the people what they want.
What does that mean?
The Anything, Everything, and Nothing podcast with Lynn and Kim.
You mean our podcast?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, where can they hear us?
Well, they can check us out each week on the Anything, Everything, and Nothing podcast with Lynn and Kim. Join us as we discuss the latest in everything from entertainment and current events to the craziness that is our real life.
Let's laugh, let's live, let's talk about it. And remember, anything can happen. Everything is relevant and nothing is off limits on the Anything, Everything, and Nothing podcast with Lynn and Kim, powered by Defy Life.
Welcome back to episode 98 of the Defy Life Podcast. This is J.R. Glymph, joined by Yoshi English, Gerald Hedrick. and West Coast Jay. Man, Jason Joseph. Guys, when we left off, we finished wrapping up our listener questions. Before we get into trivia, NFL free agency started yesterday, and started off with a bang as usual. But the biggest moves that have been made were trades. It's kind of like NBA style trades going on right now. First off, the one that we knew was coming eventually, and it finally happened. Well, finally proposed and locked in, but nothing can become official until the new official the official league year starts for 2019. So it's a few more days for that, but everything's pretty much at least written in erasable ink at this point. But first off, the big one that we knew was coming, Pittsburgh Steelers trade Antonio Brown, who requested a traded him to the Oakland Raiders for a 3rd round pick and a 5th round pick, and also the Raiders.
$2 of a jawbreaker.
Yeah, they also tore up his. The Raiders also tore up his existing deal, and gave him $30 million more guaranteed, as well as $20 more million on top of that in contract in salary. So Jay, you're a Raiders fan. So apparently you feel like the Raiders obviously won this trade, right?
Hey Jay, before you get to West Coast Jay, let me I got you on this one, Jay.
Welcome to the West. And welcome to So for $2 and a jawbreaker, we got Madden cover dude, we got arbitrarily best receiver in the league guy for a 3rd and a 5th. And the Raiders still got, I think, something like 714 draft picks this year. I think we're going after Le'Veon. I think that's what's getting ready to happen. We got to at least make a run at him for no apparent reason. And then draft all of Clemson's defense and feel good about it.
Yeah. That sounds pretty Raiderish.
Feel good. Feel pretty good about it. Then move on to Vegas with a whole new bunch of young guys who can get in trouble and arrested. Trying to leave Barbie in there.
All right. Yeah. Yoshi, what'd you think about the trade?
I thought y'all signed the lease agreement with Oakland.
Yeah, they were in, at least for another year.
Yeah, they did, but they'll be in Vegas 2020.
Yeah.
Sure that.
Yeah.
So these kids will still be underage in Vegas.
Right. Sure. Yeah. Well, let's do it like this. Me and Jay will talk the Antonio Brown trade, and Money, you and Yosh talk the OBJ trade, since that involves Gettleman and the Giants.
I refuse to discuss.
Oh no.
He who shall not be mentioned.
We should probably switch them.
All right, well, everybody just jump in when you want to.
You talking about the franchise ruiner, Dave Gettleman?
Yeah.
He shall not be mentioned. How do you let Landon Collins walk and then trade OBJ? Like, I'm just saying. But you keep Eli Manning. Like, what the fuck? Like, I just can't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, y'all.
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
For the man who said he wasn't going to talk about it.
Me and Money will do OBJ trade. And we give the long snapper a whole bunch of fucking money. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Jay, what I tell you about that Gettleman move to the Giants? How happy was I?
Okay. But y'all
go ahead. Antonio Brown.
What I refuse to do is let y'all hijack my Steelers talk. So yeah, we're gonna need to hush down on that Gettleman shit right quick. But yeah, so Jay, you obviously feel like the Raiders won the trade, right?
The Raiders won the trade, hands down.
All right,
like without question.
All right, so I will say this: 2 things. Well, first of two things. One is the Steelers may not be better without Antonio Brown, but they're definitely better off without him. Right?
That's fine. We used to diva receivers. I don't know if you ever heard of us.
Well, yeah, but then I'll say this. It's... I guess I'll have to tell you like I told Pooh when Reggie Bush was about to get drafted. And I had no proof to say this, but I just fucking knew it. Come back to me in 5 years and I'll tell you I told you so. Because that's all I can say.
They will be in Las Vegas.
No, yeah,
but I'm gonna still be questioning my overall loyalty because I still got to figure this out next year. Like we ain't touched on the fact that they just leave it. So
I'll say 1 year. Like even I'm just saying, come back to me later and I'll say I told you so. Because
and I will say I agree with that statement only if Derek Carr breaks again.
Well, Derek Carr, but that's when Derek Carr's broken.
He stayed broke. He's been broken the whole time. But for whatever reason, John Gruden loves him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, like, and I say that because receiver is such a dependent position that, like, we've seen great wide receivers go to different situations and become footnotes, and become quote unquote done, washed up, ruined. That's what happened. Randy Moss went to Oakland, and we thought he was done until he got with Tom Brady. So it's a lot. It's completely different getting like 17 targets a game from Ben Roethlisberger than it will with the best offensive line in football, so he can sit back there and wait for you to get open, versus going to Oakland with a broken quarterback and a coach who coaches you hard and is not going to let you get away with a whole lot of shit, and who's shown that he can't handle diva receivers. I just think it's a bad fit. Like, on the surface, yeah, you look at the numbers and you say, oh, shit, that's all they had to give up for him. But if you look at it realistically, dude intentionally tanked his trade market and tanked his value. He's 31 years old, still elite, but you have to wonder.
With a blonde mustache.
He shaved the blonde. He dyed it back black. He posted on Instagram today. But he dyed it back black. Right. But like just
so to go to Vegas with a silver mustache.
But even in that like even in that decision to go and work out with Derek Carr today, when the trade is not officially done and you're technically still a Pittsburgh Steeler, you technically don't have that money, your contract's not official yet, but you still go work. Yes. What if you could go drop a dumbbell on your foot, you can go pull a hamstring, you can go tear an ACL, and you fucked. But it's like to have to put, so that's what I say, like to get a third and a fifth, to get anything for a dude who's 31 and a fucking nutcase, I was fine with how much they had to give up for him. I mean, how quote unquote little they got back for him, because you weren't gonna get much for him anyway. You lucky to get anything, especially when the Raiders were the only ones who were willing to give you anything. They could have gave him a seventh, and they would have had to take it because didn't nobody else want him.
I don't know that they could have got away with a seventh. I can't sit here and honestly say that would have worked.
No, I ain't saying it would have worked, but what I'm saying, they could have offered it and been like, "You the only ones you getting anything from."
Yeah, and what I can say is, with 814 draft picks, all right, we'll take a flyer on arguably the best receiver in the NFL, even at age 31, with a Derek Carr coming off of an injury and a John Gruden who's offensively minded, getting ready to move our entire franchise from one city to what is arguably one of the entertainment capitals of the world, if not where a dude can just go be a star walking down the street and feel himself. Because in reality, if this about his ego, he's come to the lights. It's fine. You get no shine in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is known for hard work and Super Bowls. You get no shine.
Because you look at it like, first and foremost, what we don't do on this show is lie. Like, of course, like, so, yes, he's a fucking star in Pittsburgh. Like, everybody's a star in Pittsburgh. he'd be
and
just a dude.
Pittsburgh.
But yeah, that's what I'm
He gets to
saying.
be a star in Vegas.
But the thing is, but he ain't. You really think Antonio Brown's gonna run Vegas? Antonio Brown will be just a dude in Vegas.
No, I think Antonio Brown could do very, 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 very well if he has a good season, shows up for this year. So when they move to Vegas,
but in 2 years, for one,
33-year-old dude in Vegas.
That's what I'm saying. Even next year, what I'm saying is like for one, they're not going to be that good. Chances are,
unless we draft all the Clemson defense, we got to draft the whole thing.
Okay, so they're not going to be that good. Derek Carr is he's the king of dink and dunk. He's going to he'll be lucky to get to 1,000 yards receiving in that offense.
Wow. Oh, I don't know that I agree with that statement in any way. That's a bold prediction.
Okay,
so
you mean to tell me Amari Cooper goes to Dallas and in 8 games has 783 yards, but in Oakland in that same
Cooper was in Oakland and dropped the ball 9 times.
But what I'm saying is you put a dude in a different situation with people who can actually play around him, and things tend to change. Like he ain't just magically learn how to catch the ball when he went to Dallas. Something had to be going on in Oakland for him to be like, and to
that's fair.
And
the franchise itself has been broken since Al Davis died. And so it is what it is.
And Amari Cooper pretty much admitted that he just didn't respond to John Gruden. He didn't give a shit when he was in Oakland. So there's a lot of shit that goes in there. Like he just dropped those balls. So you don't think that Amari Cooper, who doubled his numbers when he went to Dallas, and by all accounts and by all intents and purposes, is a pretty good personality. Like he's pretty, he's pretty straight laced. You mean to tell me that if Antonio Brown goes there and he don't get his way, that these same issues that we've seen in the last 2 months are not going to pop back up?
I don't think so at this point.
So what's going to change?
I think that I think AB got his money. And so that's really all he's been complaining about this entire time. He got what he considers his worth. He's good to go to work. He'll go to work. If he's hurt, he'll not play. If Derek Carr get hurt, he'll figure out how to get open. Jordy Nelson is still over there. So at some point, he's going to get single coverage.
No, he's not. Like, if they double-teamed him with Juju Smith-Schuster on the other side, they are not going to stop double-teaming him with Jordy Nelson on the other side.
No, then Jordy's going to have a Jordy Nelson-like year. And
but
that will be
Jordy couldn't do that last year.
Either way. Who was over there? Amari, I'm dropping the ball. Cooper? Come on. I hear you. I understand.
So we gonna act like Jared. So we gonna act like Jared Cook don't play for the Raiders.
No, we gonna act like Jared Cook is still there getting his touches.
Exactly.
What I'm saying is the ball is going to be around for everybody, and we need to draft the offensive line in Clemson's defense, and we'll be all right.
Yeah, but that shit ain't happening.
I was just about to say, did y'all fix y'all's terrible offensive line?
And you just traded, and you just traded your best offensive lineman to the Jets, and you just signed
for so many more draft picks. Like, this team is about to be, on average, 19 years old.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
With a 31-year-old receiver,
right?
And John Gruden, who they grew up watching on TV.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm all right with the coaching situation. I feel like I'm all right with this dude as the receivers are veterans. Whoever else they draft, like, if you don't want to be like AB, go be like Jordy. He does the work every day. Like, they're good.
But was Jordy?
They're good.
Jordy,
I don't think with
but Jordy wasn't getting double teamed last year.
Chargers alive. No, he wasn't.
So what makes? And he's not going to get double teamed this year. So what makes you think Jordy Nelson is going to be better than he was last year? It's going to be the same situation.
Jared Cook is a legitimate threat. You brought him up. You can't cover everybody at once.
Well, first of all, I was talking about last year. Jared Cook was there. He was getting all the touches. He's a free agent now, so he ain't going to be there.
Yeah. Well, maybe. They might sign him. We never know with the Raiders.
But I'm talking about what we know right now It's Antonio Brown and a bunch of dudes, right?
Yes. Antonio Brown, Jordy Nelson, Derek Carr, and Dude in them.
We ain't talking. Derek Carr and Jordy Nelson, outside of their names, are not like premier players anymore.
I'm fine with that too.
But okay, so that's what I'm saying. Like, if we walk it in reality, it's Antonio Brown and a bunch of dudes.
I
right?
don't know though. Did Derek Carr just become trash over the last?
He has. Derek Carr had one good season. Derek Carr had his worst.
Okay, you're right.
Yes, he did.
And they gave him that big money deal, and he's been trash ever since. He had his worst year of his career last year.
He broke. Yeah, he broke.
He's broken, right?
Is that because he's hurt, or is that because he's a lot like his brother when he's running for his life a lot and just not?
Well, I mean, I
think it's because he's hurt. Leg shattered in 1 year, back messed up the second year. I mean, it is what it is. He's stuck there. He's in there. John Gruden loves him. That's the quarterback. There's nothing I can do about that there.
But
so since that's the quarterback, I'm going
faith in him. Is he still good?
No, he's not.
Yeah. Oh, I believe that he is, as long as he can stay healthy, which he hasn't done for the past 2 seasons.
But he was healthy last year.
No, he wasn't. He had a messed up back the whole time.
Okay, but
he stopped like Cam stopped.
Okay, regardless of why he sucked, right? And so until you show us that you don't suck anymore, you suck. Like, that's how I look at it.
Right.
Right.
And so Antonio Brown, all he cared about was the money. The Raiders said, "Hey, we got some of that here.
Right.
Still is what you want.
Right.
I got these jawbreakers and this pack of Skittles right here. You need them? All right." And so they said they took it, and that's how that works.
Well, no, because
the Raiders still have so many draft picks that 3rd and 5th do not matter this year.
But what I'm saying is, like, you understand how
I could agree with that.
But no, because it's contradictory to say we didn't give you anything. If you say, like, Antonio Brown himself was a 6th.
I'm not saying we didn't give you anything. What I'm saying is we gave you 2 picks that could turn out to be anything. One of them might be the greatest thing that ever happened in the 3rd round. Mm-hmm. And one of them might be the greatest thing that ever happened in the 5th round. And them two could combine and join forces and become Voltron and change the entire world and the complexion of the Pittsburgh Steelers, all the et ceteras. They can. I don't. Look, I still subscribe to the Al Davis philosophy of football. Is it faster than you? Does it have more catches? Can it out-jump you and can it outrun you?
And how's that work?
AB can do all these things,
and
we got them for 2 people to be named.
And how's that work for you for the last 40 years, Al Davis?
It has not. It worked one time in 81. That's neither here nor there.
That is here, or it's here and there.
From the Raider Nation. This is how we do things. It's unfortunate. I ain't gotta like it, love it, care, but it's what happened.
Now I will give you now I will give you this. Now it's a no-brainer that you have to trade for Antonio Brown. Like, if all you gotta give, you have to
immediately.
But that's what I'm saying is, in a year from now, I don't see how this trade is not going to be as lopsided as a lot of people are making it out to be.
In a year from now, 72 of our draft picks will become legal drinking age.
Yeah, but
it doesn't matter right now.
First of all, I thought Al Davis's credo was just win, baby. So that shit don't even count no more.
Oh yeah. It was.
So that's secondary.
And then
it was just draft Clemson's defense, baby.
Look, I would like to bring your attention to a few things. Darius Hayward-Bay. Has anybody seen him? Okay, great.
Yeah, he's a Pro Bowler with the Pittsburgh Steelers, actually.
He was, in fact.
Yes, he was a Pro Bowler with the Steelers. Yes, he was.
Because AB kept getting double teamed.
Albeit it was on special teams. Robert Gallery actually turned out to be a Pro Bowl offensive guard.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Has anybody seen, this one's my personal favorite, Jamarcus Russell, please stand up. Wave to the audience, Jamarcus. Your first pass from scrimmage, Jamarcus Russell. Your first pass from scrimmage.
Jamarcus, I remember him.
Yeah, Jamarcus Russell actually.
His first pass.
He actually sold beer and hot dogs at the Pro Bowl last year.
See what I'm talking about? And his first pass from scrimmage was an interception to a nose tackle.
Right.
I was watching that game.
Yeah.
He was playing the Broncos. I was in Denver as a Raider fan. I fell on the floor. I fell down. It wasn't nothing I could do about it, but I understand that just happens to be the philosophy of drafting based on what Al Davis told his son to do, and that's what Al Davis Jr. thinks he's supposed to do. And so as a result, are they going to be good? Maybe. But they have a brand spanking new team after this draft. We'll find out.
Yeah.
They're going to Vegas. So I'm going to keep it old school with the crap table. Set them over up. Let's roll. I want to see it. I want a 7 out the gate. Come on, 6 with your funky ass.
But seriously, so I guess.
These shoes.
Like,
because clothes.
But I'll put it like, because we always talk about like perspective, like whether we talking about Big and Pop, Brown and Mike, we always talk about perspective and what your values are, right? And what you value.
Yes.
And so like I always say, I couldn't be a Raiders fan. I couldn't because to me being a fan of a team is a choice. I couldn't choose to be a Raiders fan because I know I'm gonna fucking lose every year. So I couldn't set myself up for that every year. And so knowing that I have to value other things other than expecting the team I root for to win. I don't know how, like I always say, I don't know how Browns fans do it. I don't know how they do it.
Shout out to you, Lions fans.
Lions fans, like, yeah, exactly.
They were born in those cities and they love those teams.
Well, not everybody though. Because I wasn't born in Pittsburgh. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like I know.
I'm talking about you. I'm talking about Browns fans.
But I know Browns fans who weren't born in Cleveland. I know Detroit fans I know Lions fans who weren't. Yeah, I know Cowboys fans who weren't born. Shit, Al's a Cowboys fan and he was born in New York.
We ain't talking about the Cowboys. We're talking about the Browns.
No, you. How you gonna tell me what I'm talking about?
Most of them Browns fans. Them niggas from
how the fuck you gonna tell me who I'm talking
Ohio.
about?
Them niggas from Ohio.
No, I'm saying a lot of them are, but
Browns fans. I was born in fucking Tampa.
Yes, you do.
And
yes,
again,
you do.
Jay, at the end of the day, right now, every team is 0-0.
No,
every
come on,
team.
Man.
God, yes.
On
every
paper,
single one of them.
On paper, yes.
Exactly. And on paper, our offense looks like it's going to be great fun.
No,
for all you fantasy lovers out there, I would look at Jordy Nelson this year, specifically because of the double team on Antonio Brown. For all you fantasy players out there, I'm just tossing that out there.
Okay, so by that you mean that since Antonio Brown is going to be doubled, that means Jordy Nelson is not going to be doubled, right?
Jordy Nelson should be open most of the time.
No, I'm asking, what do you mean by that? Like, are you saying Jordy's
AB? Jordy is going to be doubled very little. AB is going to be doubled most of the time. Rarely will you see Jordy doubled. He has to be having like a Danny Amendola, old school Jordy Nelson day before they make the shift over with the safety.
Okay, so how would that differ from last year?
Because last year, the number one receiver for the Oakland Raiders was Amari Cooper. Every single time Amari Cooper, every time he got downfield, as a Raider, he dropped the ball.
Okay,
we didn't have to double Amari Cooper.
No, you missing what I'm saying. If Jordy Nelson is not going to be doubled this year, we all agree that he ain't been doubled last year. What did he do last year, and how is he going to be better a year older?
Oh, Jared Cook became the focal point of the offense early because, as you said, Derek Carr does like to dink and dunk. He has now been injured. He's now afraid. I want to say that last year shook off his pocket rust. His pocket presence, he was terrified of most things. Like, remember when Tom Brady got his knee broke?
And they said most things.
And then for a few years after Tom Brady got his knee broke, anybody that fell at his feet, didn't matter what was going on with his life, that was either an interception or incompletion, Derek Carr went through that last year. I think he's a little bit better now.
So are we? Let me get this. Are you comparing Tom Brady to Derek Carr?
No. What I'm comparing is the ring rust. For those boxing fans, I'm comparing the ring rust.
No,
Tom Brady was shell shocked.
He was not. First of all.
Oh God.
First of all,
Tom Brady did not win the Super Bowl for a few years. Remember that, Steelers fan?
Okay. First of all, players like a player don't win a Super Bowl. Teams win Super Bowls. So we're not gonna push that narrative. No, we are not gonna push that narrative that one player wins the Super Bowl and then he gets great and wins.
Okay.
And that shit don't. No.
That's fine.
Secondly,
I do.
Secondly,
now if that
it
player
ain't like
is a quarterback, it changes things. When your quarterback is gun shy, see what we're used to now is the Mahomeses. We're used to the other gunslingers in the AFC West. We're used to Mahomes. We're used to Rivers.
What you're missing
Derek
is
Carr was on his way to being one of those.
What you're missing is Tom Brady has always been affected by pressure. Of all the great quarterbacks in NFL history, he's probably the most affected by pressure from the beginning of his career till now, pre and post injury. That's just who he is. So it has nothing to do with the injury. That's just who he is. He's affected by pressure, as great as he is. Secondly, Derek Carr ain't never been as good as he was. He ain't never been Pat Mahomes.
Never been Pat Mahomes. Never.
Exactly.
So who Phillip Rivers in theory?
No, he ain't never been Phillip. No, absolutely not.
No, hasn't ever been him yet. You're absolutely right, but he's closer to that if we're comparing and contrasting.
No, he's closer to
Derek Carr. So we'll find out who he is if he stays healthy. We got ourselves a good gamble we just took. You know what I'm saying? Let me put it like this: it's getting ready to be the Las Vegas Raiders. I would put my chips on this number right now and let somebody roll the dice.
Okay, so this is what I mean by perspective. Because winning doesn't mean anything as a Raiders fan. It's about rolling the dice and taking a chance and having a big show in Vegas, right?
Winning stopped meaning things to the Raiders organization years ago.
And in turn, their fans
that are realistic,
right?
Raiders fans that are realistic will tell you the truth. Now, we can sound like the Cowboys fans. This our year.
Exactly.
We can do it, but why do it? What's the point of that?
Right, and exactly. So that's what I'm saying by perspective, like how you're looking at it. It's easy to say the Raiders won the trade when right now when you're not looking, because football ain't happened yet. When football starts happening, then it's a different story, because then records matter, on-field performance matters, numbers matter, and I find it hard to believe that Antonio Brown, who has the highest amount of targets, catches, yards, and receiving touchdowns in the last 6 years in the entire league, but when he wasn't getting the ball for one game, he was throwing coolers and pissed off. I find it hard to believe that when football starts happening, he's going to be happy, and that situation is going to remain as happy as it is when he ain't getting his numbers.
That's fair. I accept all of that answer. And to that, I point you to, at this point, I now have faith in Coach John Gruden, who once built a team, looked like the Raiders, turned them into contenders, got fired for arguing with the management, took Tony Dungy's team and won a Super Bowl against the team he built that was so good, it got to the Super Bowl without him. I'm going to put faith in that guy.
Nah.
That's what the Raiders fan in me is.
You talking about 16 years ago?
I certainly am. And then I'm talking about the same dude who broke down film with all these quarterbacks for how many years? I'm talking about the same dude who was in the Monday Night Football breaking down plays.
Anybody can break down film with a college kid.
I hear you. Exactly. And when these college kids who watched him for years are now playing for their coach, I don't think we have the locker room issues that people think we're going to have.
So you mean to tell me? So hold on, no. So college kids don't watch the other 31 coaches. They only watch John Gruden.
No, I think they watch, but they grew up with him on Monday Night Football, is what I'm saying.
They grow up with a lot of.
He was their coach.
He was their coach.
He was just like Madden was a lot of people's coach. Just like, you don't know, whoever is the Monday Night Football commentator, that happens to be a dude who has influence. There's no way we can deny that. The Monday Night Football numbers show that.
Okay,
Those
like
people have influence.
Okay, so like Amari Cooper didn't want to play for him. I'm sure he watched John Gruden.
Didn't draft Amari Cooper.
I ain't saying, but he played for him. So what is? So you're saying that since he didn't draft Amari Cooper was like, oh, you didn't draft me, even though I watched you and I admired you. You ain't draft me, so fuck.
I think that him and Coach Philosophy didn't get along, and that Coach he is a known, I will kick your ass out. He is a money, I will ban you from this show, dude. He is known for that.
So
none of this is new.
So only the people.
Plays out like it played the last time
so
only John Gruden as a coach.
I'm trying to follow where you're going. I'm trying to follow you. So you're saying only the guys that he drafted will follow him.
No. Like there's some veterans that'll play with him. But all of these people will play with him. But there's some personalities that just don't match. He got rid of Khalil Mack, and that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Still, and it will probably go down in history as the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
But you trust that dude.
He's cleaning house. Look, he got 7.
I'm just trying to follow where you're going, man.
12 draft picks.
Everything you're saying is contradicting the previous thing. So
welcome to the life of a Raider fan. Do you want the truth or do you want the fan perspective?
No,
what is this podcast about? It's about the truth, right? I'm defying life and letting you know what both sides feel like.
But at some point, it's got to make sense.
Money,
right?
Did it make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I'm following you.
So Money, you understand that he's saying that if I draft this kid, he gonna follow me, but not that kid because I don't think so. But then the veterans ain't gonna follow me because I ain't draft them. But then some veterans gonna follow me because they watch me on TV and because I took Warren Sapp to the Super Bowl and because I was on Monday Night Football. That shit don't make sense. With Tony Dungy's team, and I'm Chucky. And I'm in Vegas.
What I understand is what I understand him saying is there was a few things that went wrong for the Raiders that they trying to right the ship.
A few,
and he's not sure if all this is gonna work out. But shit, Raiders fans are willing to see.
Okay,
I don't think you can add an Antonio Brown and get worse.
Yes, the Steelers did it.
No, they didn't add him to get worse. He developed
absolutely.
He developed in their program.
Okay, tell me this.
Yeah, he became worse as a Steeler. That was his personal choice.
No,
right.
I'm talking about on-field results. What's the ultimate team goal in the NFL?
You play to win the game.
You play to win Super Bowls,
just
right?
Win, baby.
So
that's what we're in this for, and I think that this was the first piece.
So
in whatever chess game John Gruden is playing, because I said, me and the Raiders organization, we ain't been thinking about the same game the whole. I'm playing Madden, they playing 2K. I don't know what's going on sometimes.
Yo, you sound like a Trump supporter. Like you just talking in circles, right? So like you trying to talk me in circles so I forget the last shit I said, right? So what I'm saying is the ultimate goal is to try to win a Super Bowl, right?
Yes.
The Steelers won 2 Super Bowls in Mike Tomlin's era, but as good as Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell and these dudes who claim that, hey, pay me my money, I want my money, have been, they ain't even made it to a Super Bowl. Their shining moment was losing to the Patriots in the AFC Championship game and Le'Veon Bell going out with an injury and Antonio Brown catching 5 passes for 32 yards. That was their shining moment.
Yes.
So how are you going to tell me that they got better with Antonio Brown and the results on the field don't show it? As good as his numbers were, how can you tell me they got better with Antonio Brown when they won 2 Super Bowls with quarterbacks playing wide receiver?
Yep, I got you, Jay. So from this, I gotta give you the same perspective speech you just gave me. Okay? Pittsburgh, you Steelers fans are kind of spoiled.
Very spoiled.
You people, you go to the playoffs all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you've got as many Super Bowls as the Niners are still trying to catch you. You know, we tried to cut the lights in New Orleans and everything. We was trying to catch you. It didn't work. You know, but the Raiders, it's a lot like being a Warriors fan in the mid-'90s.
Mm-hmm.
The Raiders have not, their front office stopped caring about winning and started caring about the show. Started caring about who's going to get us the most press. Started caring about, the Raiders were the most lucrative of all NBA franchises, or all NFL franchises. They were them. That's what they did. They showed Jerry Jones how to make money. That's what it became for them. It stopped being just win after 81. That's why John Madden left. And it started being just make us all of the money we can possibly make.
So is it different now?
No, this is Al Davis Jr. Like, all they did was add a JR at the end of his name.
So what are you saying? You're saying John Gruden can overcome all of that, and you're saying you trust in him?
What I'm saying is, from a fan's perspective, the only thing I got right now is knowing that John Gruden created the team once, made them good enough to get to the Super Bowl without him, and then beat that same team in the Super Bowl because he built it. And he might could do it again.
And he might not.
It's all I got. He might not. He might not.
He likely won't. But
this draft class better knock it out the park is all I'm saying.
I don't know. If I knew somebody who was responsible for the dumbest thing I've ever seen, it would be hard for me to put my trust in.
Khalil Mack.
Right. You said it's the dumbest thing you've ever seen, yet you trust this man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
yeah, like
and it is
what it is, Jay. Like, no matter how upset about it you're gonna be,
I ain't upset. I'm just that's Yoshi English told me something. Yeah, you're right. Because at the end of the day, like I said, it's my perspective, and so at the end of the day, if my team ain't winning, I ain't even trying to fuck with them. So
yeah, Raiders fans, we with them. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
We with them.
Fuck, I don't know how you do that shit. But anyway, Gerald, Yosh, give Dave Gettleman the business, please.
Yosh, you still alive?
I don't know where Yosh is. Yosh fell in the Hennessy bottle or some shit. Yosh gone. So, Gerald, give Dave Gettleman the business.
Man, hey, I can't even. I'm just glad Dave Gettleman is no longer in Charlotte. You know, here we call Dave Gettleman the franchise ruiner. Because you know that's what he seems to do, and I felt really, really bad for the Giants when I read that they had given him the opportunity to be over their personnel, because he's not a very good personnel guy. Right. I don't know what he's good at. But he's not good at being a general manager.
Right.
He's probably good at schmoozing. He has to get the job.
I mean, but I would have just taken a look at the moves that he made or attempted to make here. I would have been like, no, I mean, you can't have this job. But, you know, the Giants, you know, gave him a chance. I know he's a New York guy. I'm just not Dave Gettleman, man. He's a franchise killer. He will forever be that to me until the day I leave this earth. And I feel like our struggle, because we were down for a year, but it was a really bad year. And I just feel like when you are in the window of opportunity to win a championship, you just can't make those types of changes. And I think it really hurt us. Now, maybe some teams can. The Patriots can gut 2 or 3 whole position groups and then get back to the Super Bowl or whatever. That's just not the. But we all know that that's really not the norm, So I just feel like questionable decisions were made. He holds some of the Panthers' all-time great players, and so we hang his name forever in mud, in effigy here in Charlotte. So it looks like the Giants will be doing the same thing. Looks like they're gonna go with Eli, and no one else. Although they did get Jabril Peppers in that trade, but I guess they had to say. But I guess they had to say someone.
Yeah.
I guess they had to say someone. So that ends up being like the number 4 pick, right?
From the Giants, yes. No, rated on number 4. I think the Giants got it's a top 10 pick. I don't know where it's at.
It's a top 5 pick.
Yeah, it's a top 5 pick. Well, no, they're getting it from Cleveland though.
Yeah, they're getting it from Cleveland. So it's the
fourth. It's Cleveland.
It's a top 14.
Cleveland's
pick,
right? Cleveland's the 14th pick.
I just don't know. I just don't know about giving up Beckham Jr. They just signed him to that big deal. Like I just feel like if he wasn't going to be a part of their plans, then there was no reason to extend him like that. Or they could have, franchised him for this year.
Yeah. I don't know.
It doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't, but historically speaking, and here I go again applying logic to shit that may not be logical, but historically speaking, when the Randy Moss they didn't win the Super Bowl with Randy Moss. So when's the last time we've seen a top flight receiver on a Super Bowl team? Like a legit top 5 receiver on a Super Bowl champion.
Champion. Yeah, that's a fair question.
I can't remember. Last time I can actually remember it, and I may be skipping some, but the last time I remember it was the Rams with Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt.
That's all I was thinking about.
So from that perspective, if the goal is to win, I could see retooling the focal points of your team to, acquire more defense, maybe a better, offensive line, whatever it is, pass rushers, whatever. And the last time the Giants won the Super Bowl, they didn't have a top flight receiver, and they had a all-time great pass rush.
That's that's true.
So, and one thing I have learned through the whole Steelers ordeal is that sometimes teams get caught up in like a superstar roster formation, and they don't try to. So the Steelers wasn't planning on Antonio Brown becoming the best receiver in the league. He was a 6th-round pick. They weren't planning on Le'Veon Bell becoming a superstar and the best running back in the league. He was a 2nd-round pick. They were thinking they might be pretty good, but they definitely weren't thinking they would become the stars. So with that, they became a superstar-centric roster, right? And that doesn't always work at the skill positions if you're trying to win a Super Bowl. So maybe that's what the Giants are doing. I don't know.
That's fair.
That's a fact. But it's Dave Gettleman, so he's definitely not thinking anything like that.
Then I was say, yeah, it's an illogical situation because it's Dave Gettleman involved. But I don't know. But if that 14th, if that 14th pick turns out to be the next Julius Peppers, then hey, they won.
Nah, they'll probably use that 14th pick to draft a DN that they'll trade in 2 years because they don't want to sign him.
True. Yeah.
And everybody will be scratching their head like, damn, they didn't re-sign that guy.
Yeah, but what? So what if Dave Gettleman takes that? What if he takes that top? What if he takes one of those first round picks and drafts the next franchise quarterback?
Well, then nobody's mad at him.
True.
Then nobody is mad at him. Like, at that point, he did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah. And which at this point, you kind of have to. Like, if you're trading away Odell Beckham and you got 2 top 15 picks, you kind of got to shoot for a quarterback in that instance, I would think.
Yeah, one of the two of them has to be a QB. Yeah.
Especially if Eli Manning's your current quarterback.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. And like you said, with Dave Gettleman, in 4 years, it ain't going to matter anyway because he's going to trade the dude away. So, it don't matter.
Yeah,
so,
really don't.
Yeah. All right. Y'all ready for some trivia?
Oh, yeah. Sure. Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
All right. So, again, it was supposed to be on Al this week, and tried to pass it on to Pooh, and they both gave me the middle finger and said, "Nigga, I ain't doing it. I ain't gonna be there. So you do it." So I just had to go old school again, and we're just gonna do it back and forth with a list. So the list I have in front of me, since it is draft season, and we just finished the combine, are the top 25 official 40 times of all time at the combine.
Oh,
so,
boy.
Right. So if, Jason, you are our guest. So that means you go last. Money, give me one of these names on the list of the top 40 times in NFL history. It's 25 names. Some of these guys are in the same time. But you give me any of these names on the list, you stay in the game. You miss one, your opponent has a chance to get one right and win the game. So you only have to give me the name, not the time.
Chris Johnson.
Chris Johnson ran a 4.24 in 2008. Yes, sir. He is second.
Darius Hayward Bay is what I got.
Ooh, Darius Hayward Bay. Ooh, 25th. Just made it. A fourth, 4-3 even. Yeah, it's a 4-3 even. It's a lot of Raiders on this list, by the way. All right.
I told you, baby.
Yeah.
That's what we was doing.
All right, Money. It's on you.
Let's see. Top 40 times. Rocket Ismail.
Raheem Ismail is not on the list. So, Jay, give me one of these names. You win the game, sir.
Man. Let's see. Well, Raiders is on the list.
Oh, shit. I could have named 30 people.
Mm-hmm.
Could have named 30 people, so I guess I got to go with Fabian Washington.
Fabian Washington is on the list, 4.29 in 2005. Former Nebraska.
Said John Ross.
John Ross, yeah.
I could have said, I don't know, I could have said Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, so the starting from 25th, working our way up. So guys who ran a 4.3 flat were Darius Hayward Bay and Yamon Figures, former wide receiver for Kansas State and the Baltimore Ravens. Guys who ran, you remember Yamon? Yeah. It's Yamon. Guys who ran a 4.29, Fabian Washington, Durant Williams, who was a former Denver Bronco from Oklahoma State, and Ty Hill from Clemson, former St. Louis Ram. Guys who ran a 4.28, another Raider, DeMarcus Van Dyke, also, ironically, also a former Steeler. J.J. Nelson and Jalen Myrick. Guys who ran a 4.27, Jacoby Ford of Clemson, Champ Bailey ran a 4.27. And Marquise Goodwin. And Stanford Rout, another former Raider. Guys who ran a 4.2. Yeah. And Stanford Rout was moving, man. Dude was 6'2", 193 pounds, running a 4.27. That's moving.
Safety.
A 4.26. Dree Archer, former running back from Kent State, for the Pittsburgh Steelers in the third round, wasted pick. All 5'8", 173 pounds of Dree Archer ran a 4.26. Guys who ran a 4.24. Jerome Mathis, former Houston Texan. Chris Johnson is money's name. And Rondell Menendez, back in 1999, ran a 4.24. And topping the list, John.
Was making guys that fast back
then. Right. And topping the list is John Ross, current Cincinnati Bengal from the University of Washington, set the combine record at a 4.22.
Yeah, I remember that now. I expected Deion to be on this list.
Yeah, but it had to be official times. There are stories and anecdotes of Deion, Bo Jackson, Herschel Walker, all them dudes running in the 4.19 range, but wasn't official. Nobody knows for sure. It's kind of like the whole Michael Jordan got a 48-inch vertical. Nobody ever saw it. It just became, it's a myth that became fact.
All right.
So Jay, you won. What you got for me, sir?
Well, gentlemen, I appreciate the guest spot. I'm glad I got to have a fan-to-fan conversation with a real Steelers fan, so he could understand the perspective of an actual fan.
That's
of
depressing.
the Oakland Raiders. Yeah, it's interesting. At the very least, we make for good TV.
Man.
But other than that, I appreciate you guys. You guys really do a wonderful job. All the other shows, everybody on the network, you guys do a wonderful job. You entertain me thoroughly a bunch. Money didn't ban me this time, so I'm good. I'm glad to be around all the et ceteras. Thank you.
No doubt, man. Thanks for joining us. It was good to have you.
No doubt. You're part of the fam, man. That's why I didn't ban you.
Absolutely. No doubt.
Appreciate you.
Money, what you got for me, man?
Hey, man. Once again, thanks everybody for listening. We doing a lot of nice things, man. Check out our Patreon page. And figure out how else you can support us out there. We definitely appreciate it. We'll get you on the show, give you the shout outs and all of that. I sent a lot of those out today. I'm trying to drum up some Patreon support. So hopefully, some of those will come back in, man. We got a lot of exciting things coming, and because it just seems like just last show we was announcing all the crazy shit that we had happening towards the end of last year.
All right.
So man, just shout out to the growth, man, of my family here at Defy Life, the team. And man, if you're not rocking with Defy Life, you're not messing with Defy Life, man. What is your life about?
No doubt. Yeah, man. Definitely check out the Patreon page, patreon.com/Go Defy Life. Become a patron of Defy Life, man, and get all kind of cool merchandise, access to exclusive extra content, a way to will support us in our continued growth, so we can continue to defy life with you guys. I ain't really got nothing crazy, man. Just looking forward to, like Money said, the new stuff we got coming up. Again, the growth of the Patreon page. We got the Defy Life Gear spring line coming, coming soon. You will see the post coming up, just hinting at it, but right now early. So you go see the 4/1/19 post coming out. So we're looking at early April. Got some dope photo shoots coming up. to continue grow some new podcasts coming to you, some new segments on this show, and some new guest hosts, like Jay. West Coast Jay's popping up for you. So it's just continue.
I like
growth,
that.
man.
That was dope.
Yeah, no doubt. So always good shit. So we'll talk to y'all folks in about a week from now. Until then, Defy Life.
Defy Life.
Defy Life, gentlemen.